you reign!
This is the D-Generation Clix podcast with your hosts,
Who is Ravage?
Ryan Ruffman,
Ravage!
Hand me that bottle cap.
Miles Kane,
Hand me that paperclip. Grab that twine. Gun wrapper.
Daniel Schwab,
We
Best friends.
Asgard to mouth.
and Pete.
Cause I'm just me.
Welcome back to the D-Generation Clix podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, are Miles, Dan, and Pete. Miles, what's up?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm hunkered down at the house. I got pretty much a snow week. We got about like 8 inches of snow last night, and it's supposed to last until the weekend. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Yep,
You've
watched all
gotten
the streams.
Way more snow than us here in Wisconsin, then. Dan, we spent a lot of time together over the last week. What about you?
I'd say it's pretty good. We did spend an awful lot of time together. We both went to New Orleans, and ironically, we both were on the same flight there and back, but we did not coordinate that whatsoever. But I was able to pack mule a package for him, thankfully, so that made it all worth it.
It did. Thank you, Dan. And Pete, hopefully you're doing better today than your SEAL team from yesterday.
Oh, that was not great. I did manage to win one, but I don't even know how that happened. So, honestly, I won one because Ollie's dice completely betrayed him. But, Sealed was a little rough. Fortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you view this podcast, next week I will not be able to participate as I will be traveling international for my 20th anniversary with my wife. So after 20 years, she probably deserves something nice from me. So I will be, unfortunately, not on the podcast, but that means it's probably going to be the best episode of all time.
No, we'll miss
Oh,
you.
So I don't want to sound like I'm
This is the
favoritism,
worst.
But if anything, she owes you. Like 20 years with you is like that's like you don't owe her anything.
That's very sweet, Miles. Thank you.
And joining us is the man behind the King of New Orleans event, Aaron Morgan. Aaron, have you recovered from this weekend?
God, no. If it's not from what all we did while we were there, it's because of what happened while we were there. So, it'll be all right, though. We're going to get a lot of that cleared up today, so I'm excited.
Sounds good. Yeah, we just got back from the King of New Orleans event and had a good time there. Lots of traveling and right back into cliques. Dan, I think you went. How much time did you spend at home before you came back down to Kenosha to play?
15 minutes.
So yeah, lots of clicks in a few days, but it was a lot of fun. All right, going into the news, just want to push our Kenosha IC Regional again. We're about 2 weeks away from ours at Coliseum Games in Kenosha, Wisconsin. It's on Saturday, February 15th, and we're already up to 29 registered with a current cap of 32. So we might be able to add more slots, but only the first 32 are getting parademons. And then we'll also have BRs going as soon as there are 4 players that want to play. And at our event, we're giving away an extra Black Adam and a Sky Cycle Hawkeye through a raffle. So to get raffle tickets, you just play in BRs. First will get 4, second place will get 3, third place gets 2, and fourth place gets 1. And for this event, Collector's Trove will be legal. And Pete, here is Pete with the...
Book would be fun.
Hello, friends. It's the Bookwood Report. The People's segment. This week, Bookwood had a pretty big week, to be honest with you. Started off with a Displacer Beast, Ultimate Hulk, and a Collector's Trove brick. He then got himself an Agatha Chase and Collector Legacy card. Then he rounded out the week with the Hawkeye LE, Spider-Man LE, Release Day X of Swords, Emma Frost LE, Mole Man LE, U.S. Agent LE, Doctor Strange LE, Human Torch LE. Those were all Release Day figures he did not have. Sandman Iconics, Mr. Freeze, Collector Map, Ultron Slayer, Karokian Garden, Prison Jailbreak Map, The Void Map, Honeymoon Resort Map, Blackberry Village. Now, full disclosure, friends, because I knew a little bit of background on the Bookguard Report. Some of these were given to him, not purchased. But I'm still proud of his degenerate spending. Did anybody play him this week? I did not.
I did not. I think he's been hiding from me.
I was
Still-
3-0, so I did not play Mr. Bookwood.
That's a good shot. I'm surprised I didn't have to
He's
play him because I was 0-2.
That's a good point. I was winning also, and I didn't have to play him, so that's funny.
Yeah, that's weird because I was 0-2, so it probably should have been him and I matched up, but it did not work out that way.
All right, this past weekend was the King of New Orleans event. Saturday was the 2v2. Aaron, do you want to detail what happened in the 2v2, the rules for it?
Yeah, sure. Chaos, that's what that was. No, so it was a standard supercharged sealed for each player, getting 3 boosters, 2 of Collector's Trove and 1 of Black Panther. And basically what we did was we set everybody on one single map, player A, player B of the teams, and it played out just like a regular game, except most games had 15 figures on the map. I was actually really happy with how it went. A lot of players liked it. We had certain powers that interacted across your team, like leadership and power enhancement, team abilities like Shield, Hydra, PD. If they were in the set, you could play them. It just added something different to the games themselves. You had to talk with your partner. You had to watch out for what your opponents were setting up. I mean, there was an Ultra Chase Collector, there was Thor and some other stuff, and you would think Ultra Chase Collector would have just won it. Shut up. Anyway, we get to the point of everything was kind of really wide open. We had theme teams, we had non-theme teams. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a nice variation on like a 2v2 kind of format, so I liked it. It was fun. I teamed with Dan, and so it was 2 packs of Collector's Trove and 1 of Black Panther. And so my final team that I ended up playing, we did pull the Prime Black Panther, and then I had Grizzly, Cosmo, Monica, not Rambo, what's her name? Her last name?
Rappuccini.
Yes,
Rap
Frappuccino.
Rapelli.
And Beta Ray Bill, and then Nebula and Rocket. So there's a ton of Guardians of the Galaxy pieces the entire event because they're all commons, but they played pretty well. Dan, what did you pick on your team?
I played 150-point Thanos because you did not want to play him.
I did not.
A Kree Accuser, the Hala, the Accuser, a Shuri, the Uncommon, Ares, and the rare Killmonger, but he was broken, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right.
So now, with you guys doing the teams, does that mean that Black Panther, the Prime, is able to revive someone like on your turn and someone on your turn, or
No.
like for your opponents? Okay, so that's considered just 1 turn total.
No, he just couldn't revive my guys. He could only revive Ryan's guys.
So that kind of like what Aaron was saying. I think it was only the only things that I think you said leadership right now. But it was only enhancement and empower, I think, at the event.
And team ability.
Yeah,
team abilities.
Yeah,
Okay.
And everything.
I was gonna say that's insane if you were able to just revive.
Well,
but mainly I'm talking about
well, yeah,
for
no
opponents.
revives. Dear God. No, I didn't.
Okay.
I am looking at. Sorry, that's where it got messed up in my brain. I am looking at updating some stuff with this format already based on feedback. So yeah, leadership will probably work going forward.
Okay, cool. The first round that we played against John Murillo's team. I think they had pretty rough pulls. They were nothing higher than a rare. Does that sound right, Dan?
Yeah, they pretty much were mostly Guardians of the Galaxy, and between the 2 of them, they also played the rare War Machine, not the Prime, but the regular one. And I can't. Oh, they also had 150-point Thanos too.
That's right. Yeah. So we ended up taking that one 65-25, and then round 2 we played the guys that pulled the Ultra Chase Collector. That was John Michael DiGiulio's team. So that one, it ended up actually being a loss for us. It was, what is it, 45 to 100, but they accidentally messed up their score, and so it put us as winning on that one. So that kind of messed up the standings. And so round 3, we played Joe Clark's team, who they were doing pretty well. They had the Thor. What was it? The Thor Super Rare. And who was their other big heavy hitter?
They had the Black Panther and the rare Storm together, the wedding duo.
Oh, yeah.
They had rare Ghost Rider. They had another 150 point Thanos. They had 2 Shield agents. I think at least 2. They had I think a Miles Morales and what's his name? Amadeus Cho, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And then, so they beat us 210 to 115, and then we ended up having to play them again after the cut, and that was way closer. It was 135 to 140. That Thor, though, is just disgusting in sealed. They had 2 shield agents, and they were able to bump up the damage total. I think his range was, what's his printed range, Dan?
And it's a 5, so they made it an 8.
Yeah, so they made it an 8, and it was, I think, 6 damage. So, yeah, it was crazy how much damage they were doing. I got a clutch Super Sense roll in the second game, which saved my Black Panther. But other than that, yeah, it was a close game. It was good back-to-back playing them. And then round 5, cut to top 4. It was John Michael DiGiulio's team with the Ultra Chase versus Ed AB's team. They took them out 115 to 65. And then Dustin Cedars' team versus Joe Clark's team, and they won. Joe Clark's team won 335 to 210. And then the final for that one was John Michael DiGiulio versus Joe Clark, and has it at 245 to 255 with Joe Clark's team winning. Dan, how did that last game play out?
So it was pretty tight, like the first little bit, because obviously you have like the Ultra Chase versus like Joe Clark's team was good, but I think they were just like pining for who got the first hit, and they Thor bombed basically, and I think they got a bunch of figures all in one swoop. Like it was like Ulysses Bloodstone died, because he missed his rollouts. What was it? Wasp died. They got a bunch of points like all at once, and then it was pretty back and forth, honestly. What ended up doing it was that they didn't drop the Bloodstone, and so that was what did it. Was what set them over, because it was 245 to 240 or whatever, I think, or whatever, or 140 to 145, and it was literally just because they didn't drop the Bloodstone, so they ended up losing by 5 points.
Okay.
So,
It has it on here 245 to 255.
or sorry, then it was 245 to 255. But it was a close game, like all the way to the end there, which
Yeah.
I mean was awesome to see. But that Thor bomb is disgusting. Like they dropped it under, because they were on like a big open map, and they bunched up around Collector, or like one part of the teams was like the Guardians were one player for the most part, and then it was like Ulysses, Wasp, Collector, and I can't remember, there was something else there that I can't remember, or I can't recall. And but he just dropped Mjolnir right there, and he did the same thing, just 6 damage to everybody. So
Yeah, that was obviously crazy strong because it's penetrating and then knockback and all that.
yeah.
I think they thought it was only a 5-point difference, so the score might have been off by 5 points too, but it didn't really matter, just 2-1 at the end. So
We recounted like twice when we went over everything. So
okay,
it
it
was
was 245 to
Okay.
255.
He quit. He forgot to drop his Bloodstone equipment.
So he wouldn't have lost though,
That's wrong.
but it would have been a tie, and they would have had to
Had
have rolled
they-
off.
no, they would have been up. They would have
Yeah.
been up 10 points or up 5 points.
So that's what I'm saying. The score in the computer says 245 to 255.
Yeah, so it would have been the
Right.
other.
It would have been. It would have been 5-point swing the other way.
So then it
Yeah.
would have been tied.
I thought it was.
Bloodstone
I thought it was
is
240.
15 points.
I thought Bloodstone was
Bloodstone
10.
10 points. So it would have been, it would have been
Okay.
245 to 245.
Oh, could have
And then it
swore
would
it
have
was
been a roll
240.
off.
Oh, I could have swore it was a 5-point difference, and then it swung one way because of the Bloodstone.
But yeah, Joe Clark's team ends up taking the win, so it was cool to see that that whole thing play out. It was a fun event. Aaron, you did mention that you're already looking at some changes, though. What do you think would make that event a little better?
Let me open that up, actually. So obviously there's a couple more powers I've added already. So leadership was not one at the event. I'm going to add that into the updated format once we talk about WizKids. Dropping it down to 300 points for both players. It may go a little bit lower, but I'm not sure yet. You'll still do supercharged sealed buy-ins. You'll get 6 boosters to build with. Still like that idea of like having a pool of boosters to build both players' teams with. Passive powers I'm going to enhance with defend and leadership working, as well as an empower enhancement. Then shield, police, hydra, and masters of evil will all work, depending on the set, obviously. I don't see a lot of other team abilities that work like those do, so I'll look into those before it rolls out.
And you could team player your team, right? Your friend?
Yes. So yeah, there's the other one. Team player. Beyond that, I'm looking at how setup goes. The A players rolling off to decide if the teams are going to go first or pick map. Starting areas are the back row, so it doesn't set up like a BR. I think that worked really well. It didn't divide the maps into smaller maps. It made everyone play a real game, which I liked.
Yeah.
Rounds were already like an hour and a little bit of change. And it was just so much on the board that it was a lot to take in. So I think point change there will help with that. I'm going to be upfront about teams get 3 maps and 2 terrain markers, so you're not doing 6 squares of blocking. Matt Donham.
Oh, we did that too. So we did 5 squares of blocking and 1 hindering. So.
Right, so you didn't do 6 squares of blocking, so you're fine. But no, I said I'd give Matt help with that any chance I got, and I will. But other than that, I do think the event overall went well. The upgrade is just the little tweaks I saw that it needed. Nobody really had anything negative to say. I've asked. So it was like, all right, this is a good core. Let's just refine it a little bit more and let it go.
Didn't ask me then.
Well, guess what? We're on this episode together, so go ahead.
No, I thought it was pretty cool. That was actually something I was working on a while too. I just want to see more synergy. I would like to see if it does say friendly in any way that it's the same thing for your teammate. I'd like to just see more synergy, and I think that would at least work in a 200-point competitive style event where you and your friend both have 200-point teams.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy it.
I think the coolest thing is, and this is one of the things that we like with our monthly game too, is like the table talk, being able to actually like how many times have you played a game or your friend is playing a game and you see what they're doing and then you want to say something but you can't, but now you can. And I think that was actually the part that I liked the most about it, was actually being able to like work with your teammate at the same time. So yeah, there's some cool things for sure. Anything else you guys wanted to add about that event before we move on to Sunday?
No, I missed the stream,
really.
sadly, but it looks like an amazing format. And like you said, synergy with if you're able to use anything friendly, that's what I was hoping for when you were pitching the format, Redmond. So
yeah, I think it's
let's
the
make it that
synergy.
way.
Yeah, the synergy is just how I think that it'll. I don't know. It leads to a lot more team building, like planning, but I do like the being able to do it as a sealed thing also. So I think there's plenty of versions of how you can play the style of 2v2.
I think it looks like an awesomely fun format, and I would personally just look forward to the amount of arguments you and I got in Redmond during the game on the same team, not even on opposite teams.
You know,
So yeah.
I probably wouldn't team with you. I'd want to win.
Oh. Well, that's where you would be incorrect then.
Right.
I can argue with you from across the table too. You know that, so
That's true.
there's nothing new there.
That's more
Yeah.
enjoyable though. All right, so then Sunday was the Modern 300 event. So I played. Here it is, the Prime Blue Beetle at 75 with the Trick Arrows, Kong with the Avatar of Gaia, Major Logan at 45 with the motorcycle, the Legacy Chair Panther with Avatar of a Tomb for the sole reason of Beetlejuice not coming in on the opponent, Perdegaton at 20, one Daredevil at 10 points in Bucky's arm, one Daredevil at 10 points in the bag of holding, and then just one Daredevil with nothing, a Weasel, Pog, and a 5-point Timebreaker with the team name of King of Kenosha. Sideline was...
I just want to say how happy I am that you actually have a team name this time. So
I am always going to have team names going forward.
I'm honestly proud of you because some of your team names have just flat sucked. That one did not.
They're just very descriptive.
I'm just waiting for the waffle stomping to happen now.
Sideline was Ares, Atum, Beetlejuice, Cthon, Gaia, and then a treasure chest, which I never brought out. Apocalypse, Major Brock's bunker, and the mansion were my maps. And the objects were the nifty traffic barrel, the heart-shaped herb, and the vibranium. The main thing was I really just wanted to play Blue Beetle, and so I kind of tried to just guess all of the pieces that would most likely be on someone's team, and I did a pretty good job of doing that. So Major Logan helped with the +1 on all his rolls for his delete power, and then the Super Sense rolls, which was nice too. So Major Logan really helped with his passive power more than anything. I think he really only shined aggressively in one match. But my first...
Not me double checking. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, what were you going to say?
You said not me double checking to make sure you didn't give Kong Ares access so I could make fun of you.
I did not. So round 1, I played Derek Cedars. This is the first time even playing my team, so I wasn't really totally sure how it was going to play out. And I was really just more focused on my team than his. And I just did not have a plan for that Prime Rogue because I have not had to play her competitively yet. So I tried to kind of keep my distance a little bit from her and do something to the rest of the team. He played Prime Rogue, Kevin, and then a couple of Time Breakers. And I was actually able to get the one shot out on Kevin with Blue Beetle and remove him from the game, so he wasn't able to come back. So that was kind of cool, and that kind of got me excited. But I was able to clear out the Time Breakers pretty easily, obviously, and then I got stuck with Rogue. I just could not get her down. So that first one, he was able to take me 65 points, and then I got 55 from him. But fun game. It was kind of cool to just start playing the team since I didn't get to practice it at all, and even just see what Rogue could do from a competitive aspect. And then round 2, I play Gavin Sanson. So Gavin played a Blue Beetle also with the motorcycle. He had Butterfly, which he brought in Caveman Wally West with. And then Kong with Avatar of Khonshu, Black Panther, Chair Panther, the Legacy, and then the Chase Harley Quinn and Space Ghost. So this one, he chose map, took us to Obama Yurt, and I misplaced my Daredevil by 1 row, and he came in and hit me super hard with his Kong on his first turn, and I honestly thought it was over after the damage he did. Blue Beetle was hurting. I had 2 Daredevils that were knocked off their first life, and then my save was really my Perdegaton, because I was able to place his Blue Beetle on the other side of the map. And so when he attacked turn 1, he had to kind of split up his team, where Space Ghost and Blue Beetle were on one side of Caveman Wally West, and then Kong had Harley on the other side. And so I was able to kind of keep them separated for the most part with how my team was built, but then he was still able to get Wally West in there, which he used him really well. It was cool. I haven't really seen too many people use Wally West, and he definitely came up pretty big for him and was worth his points. But it was a neat team, and he really did have me sweating the whole game. I had some things go my way towards the end, so it was cool. This was the one where my Major Logan really stepped up and was able to take out his Kong, because the start to the game was really, really rough. Then round 3, I played Charles Renando. He had a actually pretty scary team of mostly assassins. It was a 60-point Hidari Yao, and then Prime Talon with the Avatar of Atum, Deadpool and Hitmonkey with the trick arrows, Mern, Green Man with the broadsword, Perdegaton, Weasel, and a Timebreaker. And he also had a traffic barrel and a heart-shaped herb as well. And he was sitting pretty good since most of my team had had a keyword that Mern shared, so I tried to kind of hold him off with Daredevils on one side and then go after his Deadpool and Hitmonkey on the other one. And so I was able to do that for the most part, but I got so sidetracked trying to get points between Deadpool and Hitmonkey and the Timebreakers around him. I just wanted to get the trick arrow off, and I totally forgot to roll the range attack to just delete him. So basically what my whole team was built around, I just completely forgot to do that. So I had to recover, and Kong was able to sneak in and kind of clear out the rest of the area, and my Daredevils kind of held off the rest of the team, which was good. And I got some pretty lucky Super Senses. My Super Sense rolls were pretty hot that game. So I won that one 30-70. And then after that, I got to play Kenny Minx, and Kenny played his Ride and Dirty team, which was Prime Colossus with the motorcycle, set to combat reflexes, and the free move one. Butterfly, which he brought in... Who did he bring in? He brought Mern in that game. And then Hidari Ya with the motorcycle. He played her at 50 or 60 points. And then Chair Panther... Nope, never mind. The non-prime Black Panther at 40 with the Avatar of Khonshu. And then also the Chair Panther. So he won the roll-off, I believe, and wanted to go first. So I took him to the mansion. And going into the round, Kenny's record against me was 0-2. So after the match, it was 0-3. So that's really all that matters. But he did come out pretty hot. I missed all my sense rolls in the beginning, and he went up on points early, and it really just came down to one really bad round for him where he didn't get his rolls, and a round that finally went right my way, and I was able to one-turn Prime Colossus. And the match ended with my Kong attacking the rest of his team in the back on the final action, and I hit, and then he probbed it, and I missed, and then I probbed, and then I crit missed to end it. But we did get a ton of rounds in, and a super fun match. So I always look forward to seeing Kenny at any event. And we did live stream this one on the Facebook page. So I thought it was a pretty fun match, and I think there was quite a few people watching this one. But we do have a bet at Champion Clix Open. What's that, Miles?
Yeah, no, I was worried watching that match. I thought you had Kong on his last click when you crit missed.
Oh, yeah. That would have been terrible.
Yeah, could have been worse.
Yeah, that would have involved a Kong bouncing across the table.
It has been known to happen. But Kenny and I do have a bet at Champion Clix Open, and if I do better than him, he's taking a rock bottom into the pool. So get ready to get wet, Kenny. And then we have round 5. So after cut, I played Ed AB. I chose the bunker, and he went first. I placed his Hidari in the far corner with my Perdegaton. He played on his team Hidari Yao at 100 points with the trick arrows, Prime Colossus with the Bucky's arm, Death Metal Wonder Woman, the 30-point Shuri with the Avatar of a Tomb, and then a 25-point the Timebreaker Pog. So I won map and went to Brock's bunker. And then I placed his Hidari in the far corner with Perdegaton, and then he spent his first turn bringing her back to the rest of his team on the lower elevation part and kind of setting up for turn 2. And then my turn 1, I moved almost everyone across from him on the lower elevation and set up as well. And then his turn 2, he set up his probs, and then went in with Hidari, targeting Blue Beetle, Perdegaton, and a Timebreaker. And then he hit Blue Beetle and Timebreaker, and then Perdegaton hit with his senses. Then he did the big trick arrow, targeting Blue Beetle, Perdegaton, and hitting Blue Beetle, and then Perdegaton hitting senses. And then it was my turn, and so I blow out a wall, I move in Daredevil, and then position Blue Beetle, and then with my fourth action, I charged and quaked with Kong. And I hit this, I hit his Timebreaker Pog, his Death Metal Wonder Woman, and Hidari. The Timebreaker Pog was obviously KO'd, and then he brought back his Wonder Woman, and then I passed turn, and then as he starts his turn, I remembered the Mystics from Blue Beetle and the damage from Perdegaton. So Hidari actually should have been on click 5 after all that stuff resolved and Kong attacked her. So that really should have actually KO'd her as well with the Quake and the knockback. So we kind of went back and forth with that. And then I called the judge, and he got mad and I called the judge and said, well, now you're making it a judge thing. And then we were both kind of explaining what was going on, and I was getting pretty heated. And Aaron, I think you were having a hard time kind of making the call, so trying to just not ruin the event, I just said forget it, and we continued. And then his turn went completely in his favor, and so I just scooped, which I never do. So my issue really with this was that there were non-optional triggers, and it was very easy to track where the game state would have been by just giving the damage. So this wasn't like 3 or 4 attacks later, and I forgot about super senses or that I had prob or something like that. So, I had something come up earlier in the event where I had to make a super sense roll, and I hit a 4, and then after my opponent finished his turn and passed, he mentioned that he had precision strike on that attack, and so I actually would have missed my senses, because then it would have been just on a 5 or a 6, and so then he hit, and so that would let him trigger the big trick arrow on that target. And so what I did, I said, yeah, do that, because that's how it should have played out anyway. So if I can't beat my opponent at their best, it's not really winning to me. So it just really gets to me when other players don't have that same courtesy to try and keep the game in an honest game state. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, and if anyone wants to message me and tell me their thoughts on this, please do. What do you guys think about how all that played out?
I was more concerned about finding the mop lady too fast. So, no, like the whole thing, it's hard when players are upset to talk, especially if it gets heated before I'm at the table. So, going into the issue we had, I basically had to look at it all. I'm like, all right, so how far are we from what just happened? It became, and no offense to anyone involved, because I have to say this the right way, it became he said, she said, and because I didn't witness any of the triggers or acts happen, I have to just kind of like go with a call. So when you leaned into the whole like we'll just move on, that made it easier, but it's more of a you both kind of whoopsied on game state, and I'm saying that because of things I'm going to say later. And I think we've already talked about that one thing specifically.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Mm-hmm.
I even hugged you after all that.
Yep, eventually.
Yeah, eventually. I'm right there with you too. Even though if I made a super senses and realized it, I'm still gonna do it. Even though I know that could cost me the game, because you said there comes a sportsmanship thing and trying to make it it's not like, oh, too bad you didn't tell me you had precision strike. No, that's what the game state needs to be.
Yeah,
if it's 2 turns later, that becomes a different point for that. Oh, I could have missed him, but I mean, even then, you're like, oh yeah, you're right. But especially like you said, it was at the end of his turn, and you said, oh yeah, you did have a precision strike.
Right, it's very similar.
I believe in sportsmanship, and it just doesn't, like you said, it doesn't feel good to win. I'm sure some people just don't care, but for me personally, no, I don't. I think it's better to beat someone at their best. You don't want that asterisk. You want to say, yeah, I beat them because I was a better player that game.
Right. Exactly. I think it's a very similar example. It wasn't my responsibility to pay attention to their precision strike. I said senses on a 4 through 6, and then got it. And so then he said he had it and went back, because that's how it would have played out if we both realized that, or either of us realized that. So I try to catch everything I can. It would also be worth mentioning the matchup between Lucas and Kenny in the top 16. Dan or Aaron, do you guys want to go over that one and how it played out?
Okay, so we'll start with what I just hinted at. So, overall, it is on both players to maintain proper game state. So you're looking at hey, I want to make this attack. I'm asking about dial information. You ask, an opponent says, you should still verify. Both of you should. Make sure you're on your right click. You can't assume anything in this game because it leads to bad interactions with your opponent and or misclicking because you say one thing and something else happened. 100% game state ruling here. I'm very big on judging as far as, like, if I have a teammate in a tournament, I usually lean in and have other judges respectfully handle those rulings. If I have to make a ruling, it definitely needs to come from the players that they need a judge, which is not what happened when that happened. I could have walked back the trouble they were having at the time, which would have reset the issue, and then everyone would have had proper game knowledge. So again, I will say make sure you call your judge when you have any problems and do it right then, because I can adjust time for your game if it takes a minute to get a ruling, and it can de-escalate any issues you may have with your opponent during the game.
I mean, yeah, that's what we're here for. Like, there's never a problem with calling a judge. So
Yeah, and I don't
Even
think
if your opponent's giving you crap, this happened at the Oregon States. Not quite as bad, but you could tell like some people like weren't happy the judges were called. Don't feel like discouraged to call because you have someone your opponent's doesn't think a judge needs to be called. If you think a judge needs to be called, that's the entire reason why judges are there. So, is to try and keep the current game state and to make sure stuff. I mean, this is a game that has tons of rules, but only work during certain interactions, and so it's going to be confusing sometimes. So always get a judge.
Yeah, and for everyone that was like watching the event live, like being streamed, I know Kenny didn't maliciously try to say that was on last click. Did you guys even go into that part on what happened?
No, but I will. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it. I don't want anybody to.
Yeah, I just want to
Spin
be
it.
straight because I already know there's different variations of it being talked about.
So, what version that I could see from where I wasn't too far from this table, which led into the whole aspect of why didn't I get called over if you could see me? Lucas wanted information on what click Prime Colossus was on. Kenny said, oh, he's on last click. Nobody checked. Lucas set up and went through the motions to get an attack off to kill Colossus. When he got the damage off, Kenny clicked the dial, and it didn't kill him, which upset Lucas because he just went through all these motions to set up the shot, which led to the interaction of you gave me wrong information, and it just exploded from there. And I don't think that I actually do think most of it ended up on the stream. So it's there for the world to see, which, I mean, it is what it is, but 100% of that could have been avoided had they called me over and been like, hey, this is what happened, can we fix it? That's it. It's a simple fix, rewind, replay, go. You've got extra time to finish this match now. Being heated in the moment for any player can lead to bad decisions and bad moments, and this is a very bad moment based on improper game state knowledge. So I don't want Dan taking any heat for that because Dan was helping me that day. So that is from my mouth, and that'll be that.
All right, and yeah, I know that Kenny didn't maliciously try to give him the wrong information, but if that would have been addressed to a judge, then just resetting it would have been the right call for sure. So then going into top 8, Ed beat Kenny. Scott Crampton beat John Moses. John Michael DeGiulio beat Lionel Clark. And Charles Renando beat Wesley Summers. Going into round 7, Ed beat Scott. And John beat Charles. And then that led to John Michael DeGiulio versus Ed in the finals. Did you guys want to go over that game at all?
You fast forwarded through something, and I want to discuss it before we do.
All right. What's that?
Everyone in the HeroClix community knows that you wear tank tops. I've never seen you get so upset you put on a shirt before. So I need the world to know that that is your sign that Ryan is upset if you're playing against Ryan. If he puts a shirt on, figure out what you did wrong and address it quickly.
Before you become the next
Guys are
mop
just
lady.
getting, he wanted to cool down his arms. Like, there was that. Yeah.
Yeah, he had what was it, Mission Impossible, put up the guns.
Yeah, rocking those arms.
Anyway, yeah, we can talk about the final match now.
All right, final match and go.
So, they set up to play. Dan is watching this one very closely. I'm not too far behind as I'm trying to clean up the store for the night. And what came out of the first turn was a 25-minute-ish, pretty close to 25-minute turn from Ed. This led to a lot of comments on the stream. So I wanted to definitely address it and explain why the judge staff didn't react, and then go over something about how we need to handle that going forward and why it wasn't handled immediately then. So, if you watch the stream, Ed's opponent isn't mad, isn't rushing Ed, isn't saying anything to Ed, and never ever calls the judge. Not once. Which is what me and Dan were waiting for. We see that the turn is being long. We know that some of this is silly and things that could have been avoided. But the rule of thumb is a judge interacts when a judge is called. I don't need to be backseat playing your game for you. But this situation is a little different. Solely for the fact that it's not something I've ever encountered before as a judge. The opponent seems fine with what's happening. Me as a player on the inside is internally screaming because I know this is an extremely long turn. What's the right call? How do we handle it? What happened was, John got through his first turn. Ed basically mopped up on his third turn. And that was the game. Maybe John could have got another go in had the first turn not been so long. But how do you handle an opponent that doesn't see any issue with what his opponent is doing? That could be he's a new player. A newer player, excuse me. That could be that he was extremely nervous about being in the finals, which is fair. Could be a lot of things. But this is going to make me address something like this happening in the future with the 3-strike system that I will just be open about. So if I'm running an event for you, this is pretty much the standard now for me. And I've talked to a couple other people about it already. You're going to get 3 strikes. The first one will be your actual warning, and I will adjust the round in some way, or the game you're playing in some way. If you get a second one within the same tournament for me, you will get further adjustment to your game and basically a final warning. If I get brought back again for the exact same reason, you're done. And I think that's fair because after the first 2, you're definitely doing it on purpose. I've seen methodical players. I've even seen slow players, but I've always had the interaction with those people going, "Hey, buddy, speed it up a little bit, please." You can be polite when you say things like that, and most players will understand. Everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to get their turn. I do think that this is a nice foundation of having something to do as a judge when this happens going forward. There's not really a judge tournament document or a tournament document in general for events like that have something that involves what happened. It wasn't really stalling. It was a long turn, a very methodical placement by placement turn. And sure, his opponent could have definitely spoken up, definitely called for us to come say something. He didn't. He played the game. So keep that in mind, guys. You're allowed to say stuff to your opponents. Be polite. It's not going to backfire in your face. It might snap them out of whatever mental thing they're doing in their head. Hell, I've had a game where a player took an entire turn and didn't say anything to me and rolled dice. And I just looked at him and went, "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm attacking that." "You didn't tell me that. You just threw dice and pointed. Not one word came out of your mouth. I'm glad you can talk to yourself when you play, though. So let's start over and tell me what you want to do." It's that simple. Just have some clarity with your opponents. Everybody can be nervous. I definitely want to make sure that the player base knows that I have something in place for this going forward. So I do, and it's been discussed with other people that run big events, and we will more than likely come together and do the same thing at those events. Dan, you can say whatever you need to too. That wasn't meant to like brush you out, sir.
No, not at all. Yeah, I will be following the same ruling and or the same thought process of if you're in a tournament and you hit the 3 strikes, then that's how it goes. But yeah, I hope that just in the future that we can have some like a tournament document for judge staff would be great. So just like, hey, these are the ground rules. So
Yeah, I know one of the hardest questions that I've seen players ask in tournaments, or when people are talking about tournaments, is how long is too long for a round. So, if there was a better way to determine that, that would be ideal, I think.
If you can cook a pizza and the pizza burns by the time your turn's over, your turn's too long. That's just needs to be the minimum requirement right there.
Well, that would be a fact,
part.
yes.
But no, I mean, it boils down from a lot of stuff, man. It's not. Hey, an example I was given and I've seen before. Adam Friedman was doing math at the table. Straight up math. To figure out something for one of his attacks. And the opponent called the judge. Is he allowed to do math at the table? If you can call me over there for that, you can definitely call me and be like, "Dude, it's been 20 minutes. I ordered food, got it, and ate it before he went. Can you do something, please?" Absolutely, because that's insane.
But there's also a huge difference too, especially when it comes to Silver Age, and but this is why you've already addressed some of those issues, like Jason Wingard or Prime Batman. Like that's your opponent's actively rolling dice and constantly. That is different, but you address those, and I don't think we have anything in Modern that does that, especially with them shrinking the map.
Right, and well, I mean, so the current example of something that will eat time but do a lot of things is Starro still. You're gonna hit mind control, do a bunch of stuff with the mind control, make starfights after resolution. Starfights get to do stuff too, and then you've still got any other free actions as long as Beetlejuice isn't on the board, and then the rest of your turn to go. That could be 10 minutes of a turn there, and I play Starro a lot, and that's still kind of fast for a Starro player in general. You have to be methodical with these big mechanic characters, but you should also be practiced enough to be like, "Hey, I'm going to do this turn. At any point, stop me when you don't understand what I'm doing so I can explain it. We can keep going." And be quick and precise with your actions for those characters and go. It's easy.
One thing I do want to go over is John's team, though. He had a really cool past theme team. It had Aquanix at 50 points with the avatar of Amit. I know, Miles, you're probably cheering for the Aquanix team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, I'd love to play Aquanix, but he's just not really like with what I'm trying to build with currently. But yeah, no, I saw him on the map and I'm like, yeah, he has to play. He has to win.
And then Zala Jarrell with the Avatar of Atum, the Pegasus Captain America with Bucky's arm, Reverse Flash with the broadsword, Green Man with the Avatar of Khonshu, Harley Quinn with the trick arrows, and then Per Degaton with the Avatar of Towerette. So I thought that was a very cool team, and to see Aquanix make the final round was awesome. But just to wrap up, I want to say congratulations to John Michael DiGiulio for getting second place in both events over the weekend and just killing it with a really cool Aquanix build. You played with integrity and just overall had a great showing, so good job, man. This is going to be an annual event, right, Aaron?
Yeah. Sorry. This is the first big step to get it more public. And sorry, I'm talking to my stepdad too. So I want it to grow into something as big as Champion Clix or the Rock Cup. I think the public finally saw, like, I've got big dreams for this, and people showed up, and I was very happy about that overall. I like our new store. I'm already working on new prize ideas for next year. Maps, new terrain markers. I know a lot of people like the crowns this year. I'm going to try to outdo them next year.
Yeah, the crowns are
What was
awesome.
the other thing? Oh, the big thing I want to work on and address is the cliX cases. I haven't started talking to Adam yet, but he knows I want to talk. So potentially the 2v2, I think that's something I bring back again because it was fun and it's our big sealed, and then we have a big constructed event. But the 2v2, what if second place gets 2 of the smaller King of New Orleans cliX boxes? You know, what if the winner of the big constructed event, what if they get the deluxe case from Adam?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great addition. Those things are awesome.
Right. So it's, we had extra trophies from Scott. We had the crown from Scott. That was awesome. I'm really happy he went in on prizing like I did. And then people got to walk away with stuff they don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that makes an event memorable.
Mm-hmm. But, I want people to pay attention to the things like the little crowns and the big crowns we made. Those are interchangeable with functioning terrain markers that you can take to an event and be like, look, this is my blocking. I really want to use this, but I've got one here that's the standard, flat version. And I don't think a lot of people are going to give you hell for that. So for me, it's more empowering to the players to give them things that they can continue to use in their game versus something that might go on a shelf and you're proud of, yeah. But I don't want something that's just going to collect dust, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got plenty of ideas for what next year holds. I think I have to look at new dates based on a conversation I had, but that's okay. We didn't talk about the other thing, and I want to make Miles jealous about that. So since we can talk about it, and we're officially done talking about the event.
Kenosha?
Oh, the King of Kenosha. Yeah, are you coming up for that, Aaron?
No. You get the hell out of here with that. You cheesehead champion or something. No, yeah, no, I really did like the Chewbacca's thing and how we did what I really wanted with the event, which was, we played cliques and everyone had a good time there, but we did community stuff after the event that had nothing to do with the core event itself. It was just us, all hanging out, and it led to meaningful conversations within the community members that were there. And I mean, from all different teams and from all different backgrounds. Everyone was there and enjoying their time, and we all were laughing. That's where the whole Ryan put on sleeves thing came from. We found the mop lady. She's down in the French Quarter. That was our marker to see how far Ryan would throw somebody. I mean, there were jokes, and it was fun, and I missed the Loki in the parade, and apparently the strippers.
And the stripper Loki.
I had to run to the bathroom. Yeah, and it was just wow, great. The one time I'm I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. I miss everything I was there for. But no, that was a highlight for me to really get to do stuff with community members and enjoy it. Not just be hey, I'm at the tables from open to close, and y'all are all doing personal stuff while I'm still here. So having an event where we can be we got a deadline our event today, so we can go be friends outside of the HeroClix community was nice.
Yeah, I love playing.
So thank you, Dave.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. No, you go ahead. I can say it after you're done.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I love playing, but the most important thing that I look forward to the most is just being able to see everybody whenever we travel to an event.
And so, like, I wanted to say thank you to everybody from this show that came, that could come. If you didn't come this year, you should come next year. We're looking at the people that drove from Mississippi, from Alabama. We had a bunch of people from kind of like everywhere. It was wild.
Yeah.
And I'm insanely proud of the New Orleans crew that they finally stood up and showed the meta players that they know what they're doing. So for everybody that's going to listen to this from the New Orleans crew, I'm really proud of you. I'm happy to be a part of that crew, even though I'm only there for the big events to help run them. It means a lot to see y'all like finally step up and be like, we're going to defend our city. Come on.
Yeah, they had a good showing.
They did, especially for a lot of them that have never played meta before. It's like, we've done this for 3 years, and I think outside of Fred, maybe Charles has played at one of the other ones. Oh no, Charles and his son have both played at one of the other ones. But it was like, New Orleans didn't really stand up and be seen at that event the last couple of years, so it was great to be like, I'm cheering on like you guys and my other friends that were there, but I was really cheering for the New Orleans guys. Like, come on, let's go, give it to them. So next year, based on talks with another event that is looking at different dates, I'm gonna try to do something. No, shut up. I'm going to try to do something around the same time frame if I can. I'm going to try to keep track of Chewbacca's because I think that was fun. But for the record, for all the wrestling fans that are on this show with me and listening at home, I'm pretty sure New Orleans is where we want to be next year come April.
For the Rumble?
So I have a
or
tough
no,
decision.
what's then? Oh, it's
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania,
Oh, wait, no.
that's right.
Yeah. So Mania is in New Orleans, and that's like, do we want to spend a week and a few days in New Orleans as a community? Go down there the week before, play HeroClix, and then do Mania week in New Orleans?
That would be
I think that'd be nuts.
Yeah.
So that adds another layer to the whole thing I said about the communities and the interactions. It's just like, hey, this was fun. Dan learned not to drink with me and Kenny, and we also found the biggest pizza slices I've ever seen, and Ryan tried to eat 2 as soon as they came out of the oven, and that was funny.
I had to bring half of one home, and I can eat pizza.
I couldn't Aaron got to watch me open a cork bottle of booze and learn that I am not very capable when it comes to that.
That was hilarious. Open this bottle. Twist, 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 twist. Why weren't it open? Plunk. Oh. We're in the parade, man. But no, overall, like I said, very happy with how everything turned out. A little hiccup here and there isn't going to mess up my drive to make this event bigger and better next year. It just may be involved with a big event next year, too. So, we'll see.
Sounds good. Yeah, we will absolutely try to make that again. All right, and then all we have left for today is a few listener questions.
Your ass better call somebody!
William Day Roker. This is player points per game so far this year. So in 300 Modern, 149.4 out of, 1,551 games. And then 400 Silver is 161.3 out of 4,286 games. I think
a lot of silver.
Yeah, well, this is coming fresh off the state's results, right?
I know, but I'm just trying to draw attention to how many silver games were played.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of surprised at how high the Modern is and how low the Silver is, to be honest.
Well, I mean, if he's just pulling units as a whole, is he pulling weekly events too, or just the big events? I don't think he's ever actually said.
This is just the bigger events. It's the same thing as for the ELO. Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
actually
then,
the 300 Modern. started out from when I was talking with Bill. It actually started out, I think it was like 190 points when he first started it, and it's steadily dropped each month since post Worlds to being 149. So it's lost almost, I think, 45 points in what, 4 months average.
It's kind of crazy, actually.
It's so weird. It's like people played whatever they wanted.
Until they didn't, because a certain Iconics came out.
That's-
Okay.
Well,
Number
I will say rotation.
we
probably hurt
almost
that
made
too.
it a whole episode. Almost.
Actually, that's probably where that drop came from, is that you can't play the game anymore. So then people just stopped getting points because you can't play the game. So, yeah, that checks out then, actually. His second question was, why won't WizKids give us a cool Havoc in the OG costume? It feels like a conspiracy. Does Alex owe WizKids money or something? I want to see the 90s one with the jacket.
Yes, we need X Factor Havoc. I don't care about the original OG one. No, he's trash. Give me the X Factor Havoc and make him good.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I really like the X of Swords one. I thought that one was pretty solid. The slop one, I mean, he was 100 points, but I thought he was pretty solid.
yeah, he's not bad
Yeah, but
actually.
it's
I'm
not
a
the X
piggy.
Factor 90.
I would like to see Havoc in his OG costume, but I also would feel like I need to understand why we aren't getting X Force in their black and grays anymore. I missed that real bad.
Yeah, that would be cool too. I want to see a lot of the older stuff come back, because it feels like a lot of the stuff for X-Men, at least specifically, is getting pulled from the newer runs.
I'd be happy with a Havoc. That one was good. I mean, that's been the best one we've had. But
Oh, for
Mutant
sure.
X, I need Mutant X as a sub theme. That's what I need in my life. Miles, are you familiar? Time
Yes, I know
traveling,
Mutant
alternate
X.
universe shenanigans.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yep.
You could have
I mean,
Bloodstorm. You could have Mutant X. It would be amazing.
I want to point out that Nate Gray,
I want an iconic for the TV series Mutant X. That's what I need.
that would be
Mhm.
fun. But no X-Man has been made since Wolverine and the X-Men. I would like to see him come back in some kind of click form.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think he was kind of a neat piece, wasn't he? He was just overcosted.
It's 275. He could TK you 12 squares. And then if he put you near blocking, it dealt you 2 pin or something.
Okay.
He was a bomb thrower. And then if you hit him, he got pulse wave and all kind of other stuff. He was fun.
Perfect for a legacy card too. I think the sculpt was pretty cool on that one, wasn't it? I know he's sitting in a box somewhere.
Yeah, he's like jumping with both of his energy Kirby crackles around his hand.
Yeah. All right, Paul Cote, why do you only call Beetlejuice Michael Keaton? This is Batman and Vulture Eraser. You want to take that one, Miles?
So I'm glad you addressed that. So I call Beetlejuice Michael Keaton because Michael Keaton's the only actor to ever play Beetlejuice. He's ruined not only HeroClix for me because of Beetlejuice, but he's ruined Dumbo for me as well. But Batman, I don't even think Batman's the go-to Batman. I think that everyone is in agreement that Batman the Animated Series is the go-to Batman. So,
It
and
is.
Vulture, if I was on a podcast during the time of Prime Vulture, Michael Keaton would be called that, even though that was pre-Michael Keaton Vulture. So
I was gonna say
that's
I
where
liked
am
him.
with that.
I liked him as Vulture, so I was like, well, it's more of a negative connotation when it comes to that. So
He ruined my childhood and he's ruining my adulthood, and that's horrible.
It's unfortunate. I'm
He
sorry,
ruined
Miles.
Dumbo. He's ruined HeroClix. Michael Keaton, Randy Quaid, done.
I would offer that this is erasing a lot of Michael Keaton achievements. Mr. Mom, for
Multiplicity.
example. Well,
Multiplicity.
yeah, absolutely.
Multiplicity was
100%.
actually pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but I mean, in terms of HeroClix, I don't think he's really erasing anything. I don't. He's not Batman.
He's erasing fun.
He is. I just don't want to say the name 3 times because someone's gonna put him out. And actually, watching the stream, I saw what Ed, Frampton, Kenny, and then the guy that got fourth. What's his name? He was playing against John in top 4. They all brought out Beetlejuice, and if you guys have been listening to this, there is a like bringing out Beetlejuice in a tournament. You are saying that you are accepting the arm wrestling challenge of me or Matt Reed. So if you see either of us at tournaments, just know that you're gonna have to cash that check soon. So
You just made the list!
Yep, and it's all gonna be streamed. Worlds is gonna be fun because you don't need to find me. I'm gonna find you.
All right, moving on to Lou Minotti. Tell us about Chewbacca, and did you meet Gambit? I thought Chewbacca was actually a lot of fun. I was surprised that it definitely is super family friendly. So if we're able to get down there as a family next year, I would definitely want to bring Oliver because I think he'd have a good time there. It was a lot of really cool floats, and what they did with a lot of the lights was really neat. Aaron, do you know how long it was, the actual event, like the path or whatever?
It was like 3-ish hours somewhere, 3.5 somewhere in there.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, we were there for a while, but it was cool. There was a lot of really cool stuff. I did not see one Gambit though. There was, I think.
Oh no. There was a Gambit and a Rogue.
Oh, was
It
there?
was like middle of the parade. Yeah, I remember that now. It wasn't the Rogue you thought, but it was a Rogue.
I saw a bunch of
Yeah.
of X-Men, but I did not specifically see Gambit, unfortunately. So I guess just like Aaron missed out on Loki, I missed out on Gambit.
I think you'd be okay missing out on this Gambit.
Yeah.
All right. Is Hidari Colossus the team to beat now? I think that is probably the strongest team going into a modern event, even after Collector's Trove releases, honestly. Just the Hidari Colossus ruler team. What do you guys think about that?
I suppose it's obviously I'm biased. I don't think it is, but it's going to be the most played team, and I guess you can look at it as the team to beat. And I don't think it's as unbeatable as previous meta teams.
Well, it's 190 points of your build if that's what you're going for, so it is 2/3 of your build. But I mean, it is very consistent, which is I think what you're shooting for. So
I think it's safe to say if you can't beat Hidari and Colossus, then you're definitely not going to be doing well, because that's what everyone's going to be playing. Dan, did you do a count of how many were at the event?
I think there was 5 or 6 out of the modern field. Oh,
Let's find out. There were.
Really? Because I played 3 Hidaris.
He was on 7 teams. 22 wins.
And
at
Colossus
53
on 8.
points.
7 teams. Okay, sorry. I was like I ballparked that math in my head, but at least I was close.
Out of my 4 Swiss rounds, I had 3 Hidaris that I had to fight. So I guess I just ended up on that end of
So Hidari was on 7 teams. Colossus was on 8. So Colossus made more teams than her still.
Is it easy to cross? Is it easy to cross reference that and see how many had both at the same time?
There wasn't that many that had both at the same time. That I remember specifically.
Okay.
Let's see. On top 16, there were 6 of her. Top 8, we went down to 4 teams had her. Top 4, she was on 2 of the teams. Top 2,
1.
she was on 1 of them. So, I mean, it's pretty solid all the way through, I think.
Okay.
Yep. And there was 9 Panthers, or Chair Panthers, and what was that? A bunch of Perdegaton too. So
What was what was the piece that was
Perdegaton.
played the most?
Perdegaton.
Degaton, he was on 8 teams.
Yep.
Well, that ties with Colossus then, right?
No, he was on, but he had the best win percentage. I think. Yeah, because he had 25 wins.
Black Legacy Panther was on 9 teams.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's who. Yeah.
So the most played character was played solely so that you can't bring in another character on the sideline. Is that what I'm getting?
or
Yeah.
other stuff on your sideline besides that. But yes,
No, that's just a bonus because you get 2 things to pick.
but that's why you play him over Despero.
It's a
Yeah,
little,
no, that's- yeah.
it's a little Panther disrespect. I mean, he's doing other things.
He is.
I'm
He's
trying
doing-
to I'm trying to say that, Pete, but
Yeah, but if let's be
Right.
honest, if Keaton didn't exist,
He
Panther
wouldn't have been
wouldn't
on
be
9.
played on 9.
Correct. He's
All right,
great.
I have a hot take, and Dan heard me say this already.
Hmm.
Somebody yelled at me the list,
It's
but it's okay.
not off to a good start, Aaron.
It's fair. You're over there. I don't worry if you have to put sleeves on. So I want to build with Chase Loki, and I've seen a lot of the dislike for the dial he has. So what I'm looking at is probably 60-point Loki, maybe a little bit higher, 90-point. I haven't decided yet. Giving him Chthon, giving him some kind of equipment. I'm still working on that part. But you run him with Chair Panther, either a Time Breaker or something else. You need at least one Pog generator, and after that one's dead, it doesn't matter anymore. So you put Beetlejuice on your sideline, and
Stop.
Loki just eats all the damage. I know. I knew it before I said it.
So you're.
But I think
I thought you were talking about main force, and I'm like, that's actually kind of funny.
Not make cut. I mean, if you want to play to not have fun and just not win, I think that's a good idea.
no. So I think Loki. And the reason I'm saying Loki may be a better option for Beetlejuice is Loki will definitely give you the ability to let him go back to the sideline when you need him to, versus I have to make sure something is alive to give him the damage when he comes back. I'm not saying Beetlejuice doesn't need a fix. I'm just saying I think I've found a cool way to make Loki a little bit more playable because he doesn't care about unavoidable damage from himself.
Yeah.
That's a great exploit to help a terrible piece enter more playability.
Aaron, if you wanted to arm wrestle Miles and Matt Reed, you could have just asked. I'm sure they would have taken you up on it.
I'm pretty sure I have to arm wrestle Miles anyway for something I've forgotten. So, I mean, it'll be fine.
You never know when
Yep.
you're arm wrestling Miles. You don't get a choice in the matter. It's just happening.
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
just comes up to you and goes, "We're arm
And
wrestling."
it doesn't
You're
have
like, "Oh."
to be where everyone's playing cliques. As the
Yeah.
Prognanos know, it happened right outside of in the hotel. So
Yeah.
it could happen anywhere.
It's known as the Miles cuddle struggle.
Yeah. Struggle snuggle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lou's last question is: what is your favorite dental care product? Does a toothpick count?
Colgate toothpaste, the one with tartar control.
I feel like that was a Gambit reference.
It was not.
You failed, sir.
It's just that nice feeling when you get something stuck out with a toothpick that I think I'm gonna have to go with toothpick.
He just likes to have wood in his mouth.
All right,
There
there.
it is.
Ooh, nicely done, Daniel.
Bookwood.
Oh man.
Oh, rip.
All right, moving
So can we
on.
get-
Moving on to
I
move.
thought, you didn't ask me. I thought we were going to ask everybody.
It wasn't going in a great direction, so I was gonna move on. But let's see what you have
I
to
really
say. Pete.
enjoy my Oral-B electric toothbrush. Honestly, it's fantastic. If you don't have one, you should go out and get yourself an electric toothbrush. Maybe a little Sonic Care one. They're great. They're wonderful.
All right,
Lou, thank you for caring about our health.
Aaron, you want to take a shot?
Let me pull it up real fast.
At
Make
the-
sure I don't forget anything.
At the question,
Dental
not the whiskey.
care product.
Favorite
I mean,
dental
that's say Scotch. It's the same thing. No. No. Favorite dental care product. I'll go one step further. Not a toothpick, but floss.
care? All right.
If you can do it. That's such a random.
That's
question.
crazy. So your favorite dental care product is also your favorite dance move? Insane.
Hey, at least I can do it, Miles.
Whatever.
All right, moving on to Peter Marshfield. Well, at first I was going to be cheeky and ask, what do you guys think the unicorn is going to do? But since we just found out what it does, I'm going to pretend I don't know and make this reference. All unicorn horns are good for is glowing in the dark, pointing towards the nearest rainbow, and playing rave music. Do you know what that's from, Pete?
Gravity Falls.
It is. He's really going hard on trying to get us to watch it, and I'm.
No, I've already watched it.
Yeah,
I love it. I knew it when Peter is doing the Lord's work here, Redmond, and you're just resisting it.
I'm not resisting it. I said I would check it out. Miles is resisting it fully.
Yeah, no, I can't stand the animation style. I can't watch it. I'm sorry, just the animation
What
style.
is your
just,
problem with
no.
the animation style?
I just don't like the animation style.
But do you like the animation style?
Yeah, I love it. Can't stand it. And then Peter tried saying it takes place in Oregon. I hate Oregon. Just that is not his selling point. Maybe if they were in Oregon and it was about them trying to leave and not able to because Oregon has a vortex, then you might have piqued my interest.
It's 2 strikes then.
Miles, listen, we had a watch party. We're gonna have more watch parties, and I'm gonna sneak these episodes in on you. You'd love it.
We still have the Loveland Frog to catch up on, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, but you know what? Actually, how long are the Gravity Fall episodes? Are they?
I think they're only like 15 minutes.
You're like 20 minutes. They're not that long.
Oh, okay.
Is that too long?
I mean, for a cartoon series, I think it's about the right time.
All right.
So, I'm looking at it right now. 20 to 24 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I
An
said.
episode of Gravity Falls. Okay, yeah.
All right.
We can
That's
play
a
my
decent
favorite.
time for animated series.
Yeah, you can play my favorite game. Just a tip, just for a second, just see how it feels.
This is going downhill real quick today.
Okay.
All right. Second question. I've taken some of your guys' suggestions to consideration, and I'm not trying to just copy Dan. So instead of dropping a Thor on the Warrior build, I put this together. So this one is the Prime Black Panther with the +1 longsword, which he equips for free. Supergirl with the Avatar of a Tomb. Diana on the Hell Cycle. Death Metal Wonder Woman. And Shuri. This seems more like a Pete team, to be honest with you. And I think this is pretty strong.
This is a distinct lack of prob on this team for a Pete team.
That part is true.
Pete knows he's going to miss like 2 to 3 attacks, and so there has to be at least one prop.
I guess
critical ones.
It's a little different.
I mean, on Death Metal Wonder Woman. And just
I need to know why
her
you haven't
drop.
played Bigfoot yet.
It's a good question, Aaron. We haven't had any like modern constructed knights. It's all been sealed since I was back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on my Bigfoot. Somebody gave me a great idea today in the chat. The gnomes and the unicorn with a Bigfoot, that seems like we're working with some gas there.
That's a solid team.
I actually really like that.
And then if I can get Dream the Endless, I'm thinking I'm pretty good in Mystical so far right there.
Oh, well, you gotta wait like 9 more months or 10 more months, but you know that will be a wild month that month.
I like the team, Peter. Getting it back on track.
See, it screams Pete to me because it's just like it has some healing and you can die a bunch of times and not be actually dead.
Yeah, you're not losing points.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
That's Pete's favorite thing is being able to make a lot of mistakes and not be punished for those mistakes and just get another shot.
That's correct. Attrition generally wins.
And then there's been this build that has been designed courtesy of Pete. This is the
it's good to get the love in the builds. How many people are building for you, Redman?
Not many actually.
Miles, as a person that has people build for them, how does it make you feel?
It feels pretty good, and yeah, these are definitely Pete builds. I mean, you know, maybe you should be more of a unique personality, Redman, and then maybe you can get people to build teams for you.
I would like to ask our loyal listeners to make a 2-finger Dan build.
I think that we should just have, honestly, a full competition and have people make teams, and the person that builds the team that we select wins for each person.
That's
I
fine.
like that. I have Iconics. I'll
Nobody's
find one of
building
the
a
Iconics I
Miles
got
team.
from Super fan, and no, we'll vote your team, whoever, and yeah.
I think no four winners, and everyone can build teams, and we'll pick our favorite one for each person.
We should have to
And
play them then against each other.
I feel like
That's
I feel
actually
like we
good
should
too.
make,
Yeah,
like,
we can definitely make a big thing about it.
We could include Uncle Aaron in this.
I mean, I'm always around, so I don't know why people don't do that more. Actually,
Well, you'd only fill with 3 figures, and no one likes playing them. Keaton, Loki, Starro.
Yeah,
Hey.
not a good start, Aaron.
that is not
love
true at
Starro.
all. Actually,
2 of those 3 are perfectly fine. Like, I have no issue with Starro and Loki.
I was gonna say, I gonna say, why do you
I
hate Starro
had
so
an
much, Dan?
entire build ready for New Orleans that had none of that on that team. Actually, sir.
Do you want to
Yeah.
go over that? What would you have played if you played in Modern?
Let me pull it up.
Oh, he was gonna wreck face.
No, I was actually a little surprised we didn't have more of Kong actually. So it may not have worked so well for me, but still would have been fun to try. All right,
Beast Boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw this team.
So it would have been Beast Boy, T-Rex of 120 points with Avatar of Khonshu, Titania with Avatar of Atum, so she can do range and penetrating damage. Kong with Chthon and Gaia at 50 points, and Donnie Blaze at 45. And then have Donnie making a portal on your side of the map and spawning demons one way or another. I'm either going to get extra attacks, or you're going to outnumber my team soon, and Kong's going to go Kong you. And leave the demons alone, so you're always having extra characters.
So with the solid,
Go ahead.
And the solid down tick of Kong's being played, how well do you think it would have done?
I think the placement thing would have messed with people up. Still, Titania would have had to protect a little bit more because of Adariel.
Yeah.
But I think overall, Kong is still getting across the map to you, and Beast Boy is right on his tail. So the damage output is really high regardless. I think it would have been fine.
Yeah, there is a handful of really cool builds. It would have been cool to see that one too.
Yeah.
Then did I get both of them? Yeah.
You did.
Okay. Then
No, you skipped the delete one, didn't you?
He did. Well, he didn't go over,
Yeah.
but he
I
he
opened
didn't
it up here. Sorry. Then we started talking about stuff.
I got it.
'Cause you
Listen,
guys-
Peter, I appreciate your time and effort. Redmond tried to skip all of your hard work.
Ah.
He's got the beholder.
What's it
He's
called?
got the
What's
blue
it called,
beetle.
Pete?
Delete. In honor of Matt Hardy, thank you. The beholder, the blue beetle, the green man. Nicely done. Avatar of Khonshu, Timebreaker, and Madison. I would absolutely play this build. Except the Timebreaker Pog, I probably would find something else. But I love it, Peter. Thank you.
All right, Alec Muser, Blue Beetle, fact or cap. So I thought he actually performed pretty well. I'm probably going to play him into our Icy. There's a few changes that I think I'm going to make to the team, but I was pretty happy with him. I don't think I actually lost him any game except my last one. He is a huge target, so he allows a lot of other things to happen. And the 6 range on him is really good too. And even though he loses the ability to choose a damage or a attack power, he always has the ability to just turn off a power, and that is pretty amazing. So he on my team with the Major Logan being able to get knocked to super senses and then still get that 4 through 6 rollout, it was really hard to put him down. And I thought he was pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna probably make a couple of changes, but I'm gonna ride with him for a few more weeks because I gotta nail a team down for Champion Clix in March. I still am not good. Do you guys want to tell me how to get to the breakdown of what was played?
Of what for the New
The
Orleans
events, yeah.
Yes, you go to the
You
event.
go to the
You
you go to
past
the
it.
event page,
You go to-
and then you go to the under details, standings, and rounds. There's the meta tab underneath.
Ah, okay. So, where
Dan?
was...
Daniel.
Yes,
Blue
sir.
Beetle was the only.
Thanks
on
for
3
helping your
teams.
grandpa figure out the internet.
Whatever. All right, so where is Blue Beetle?
Blue
He is
Beetle's 16th.
unfortunately only 16th.
Teams.
Prime Swamp Thing, baby, was 14th.
Even
Oh
regular
look, Star's
Prime- yeah.
still better than Blue Beetle.
I don't like that. Where'd you say he was?
Well,
He's
Starro had
16th.
a lower win percentage, though.
Yeah, but he's still there.
Yeah.
We love him where he belongs.
Oh, there he is. All right, so he was on
Wait.
3 different
Yeah,
teams.
47.
Ooh, Man Thing had a huge win percentage, 70%. Damn.
Mhm.
Plants.
That's a good.
All
I
right.
mean,
He
Swamp
was
Thing,
so
Swamp Thing still had a
horrible.
50% win percentage, even though he was on more than just the plant teams.
There was a flub that happened during that game that nobody noticed until it was too late.
What's that?
Which game?
The Cody game on stream. Miles
Oh,
saw it
yeah.
because I got a message immediately. During the game, a guy outwitted Man Thing's Invincible and then pulse waved with his outwitter in range. And nobody noticed it, so the duration ended and they just kept playing.
Ah,
Yeah.
And he brought. This is actually John who got second. Then he brought Zala and killed Man Thing. When technically Man Thing should have only took 2 damage instead of the full 4. Which he could have still he would have still been able to do it. He could have sidestepped or whatever, pulse waved with what's her name?
Harley?
And then moved out. So it still could have, yeah.
Yeah.
It still could have been done in a different order. But yeah.
then we have Matt Zielinski. Despite Michael Keaton, the meta still seems pretty open. What was some of the figures in the top 16 that surprised you? I think the biggest one was Aquanix making the finals.
It's weird too to say that the meta's open. The meta is open, but at the same time, it's only open because you have to play a $200 figure with Black Panther. So that's my one complaint there. But yeah, Aquanix in the top 16 was insane.
I'm
Getting to
actually
the
gonna
finals.
go with the uncommon Shuri. Like she made a lot of teams. She was around more than I thought she was gonna be. So
Yeah, we know she's good, but I didn't expect her to be on as many top teams as I'm seeing her, which is cool to see.
Is that the 30-point TK one?
yeah,
Oh, man, you're crazy. That one's awesome. And if you're doing anything with Vibranium tokens, she's huge.
no, she's amazing. It's just more of I didn't know she'd catch on this fast. I guess was the thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we did see Prime Rogue had a pretty good showing too. I think that was a surprise that she's picking up because I think people tried her when she first came out, and I don't know if it was just the meta at the time, but she was not doing as well. I think this is definitely a better place for her right now, with the exception of Blue Beetle, or not Blue Beetle, Beetlejuice.
She's such an interesting piece because that's such a commitment to the team. But man, if she starts going, she is a train that you cannot derail.
I actually really like her on the build that I saw. I mean, with the Kevin thing, getting that reroll off where she to like guarantee the hit, that first hit to start the train is really good. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, another cool one was Matt Donham played Full Point Chaos King.
Yeah.
So that one was pretty cool too.
He was real happy about that.
It's just so hard for me to jump on the bandwagon of tent poles just because like I build teams that can handle the tent poles. So but yeah, it's real cool seeing Rogue do really well. I was actually surprised that we didn't really see any. Did we see any 200-point Kongs make cut or 300-point make top 16?
I only saw 50-point
No,
Kongs actually the whole event.
Yeah, I think no, there was one 300, I believe, and 2 200s, and they did not make cut.
I was really surprised Madison wasn't more present. I mean, for 20 points, anybody that has mystical she's adjacent to, that dual perplex is huge. And not for nothing, she's not super. You got to kill her twice.
I think the big thing
I
is
don't
that
know.
she's an easy play when you're doing mystical, but when you're not, there's just other options. She's not.
She was
the
only
go-to.
on one team, unfortunately. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're doing theme, it makes sense, but I think there's way too much unthemed right now. Is there a way to check that out? Probably not.
No, but I did notice there was a lot of untheme in the field.
And for a big event, death metal only being on 3 teams. I mean, was she a big butterfly swap? Did you guys
No,
see?
it was
Or
actually main force on 2 of the 3, I think.
yeah, I mean, that's one of those pieces that comes out during competitive events. Like so,
She
I don't
was
know.
on 5 teams on the sideline for Butterfly Collins.
Yeah, I saw
Well,
her a
there you
lot
go.
on sideline, against my opponents at least.
Yeah, the same as her.
Oh, sorry,
And
main
Midnight
force.
Angel.
Main force, she was only on 3. Sideline, it was different. Yeah.
I guess you got sideline options. We see Midnight Angel is interesting.
Then we have John Michael DeJulio is losing by 5 points in the finals because you forgot to drop the Bloodstone equipment, the single dumbest play you've seen in a sealed event. Definitely not. I play against Pete a lot.
It's a bad move.
Ooh.
So the click's bad 2v2 lost by 5 points because they forgot to put. They should have won by 15 or 10, but they lost by 15 because they forgot to put a motorcycle on the map. So
I wasn't sure
That
who was
wasn't
catching
easy.
that bullet. I knew it was going to be me or Bookwood.
It can easily go the opposite way, though. There was a big 30-something person event in the Pacific Northwest quite a few years ago, and I won that one because I grabbed somebody's spin ring that they were holding that they never equipped. This was before you could assign equipment, and I made an attack holding it, and I think I even missed the attack, but because the ring still broke, it actually put me up the 5 that I needed to win. So it can just as easily go the other way. Pete, what's your dumbest misplay with equipment?
With equipment?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I think my dumbest misplay easily was during the monthly game when I decided at the last second to put Mephisto on his team-up card and lose all of his utility for that game. Because I was like, he doesn't do anything I was counting on him. I don't know why I didn't just read the card.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was already like 2 turns in when I was like, oh, you're kidding me. I couldn't believe I just did that. But with equipment? I don't know, man. There's probably been at least a couple. Yeah, I'd have to think about it. You can come back to this. I'll think about it.
All right. Does anybody want to add anything into that? Nobody has
Here's your Bookwood's
any equipment
probably
stories?
gonna be an entire novel.
I mean, all of mine ended the exact same way his did, because it's all been from the judge side. It happened at the Rock Cup last year, and I actually got that guy almost DQ'd.
For what?
He didn't just, like, take it and put it off somewhere to the side. He, like, put it in his box. So there was a whole snafu of, like, we go to score and it's not even on the table.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was wild.
All right, then we have Jeff Dumas. In hindsight, what would you have changed about your team?
Oh wait. Did we not go over Marcus Romeo?
Did I miss one?
Yes.
Marcus Romeo.
Yeah, that's a hard word.
Romeo.
It's,
Romeo.
what is that? Marcus Romeo. What were some standout figures during the event? Anything that underperformed or overperformed? I was surprised, yeah, again with the Aquanix making the top final matchup. That's awesome. As far as my build, I think Major Logan played in huge every single match, so he definitely, I feel like, overperformed because I was definitely worried about having a matchup or two where it just didn't play out the way I was hoping. And so I just kind of went in thinking that he'd kind of just be a little above fine. But it worked out really well, so I think he overperformed just by his trait alone. Dan, did you see anything?
Besides Shuri, I was really surprised to see as much Captain America as I did. I think he was on 4 teams, and I was really surprised. Like, I mean, he's still very good. I always struggle with him just because of deployment issues, but I think it was mainly also because of the time breakers. Like I was not expecting to see that many time breakers either, to be honest.
Timebreaker Pogs definitely surprised me seeing all those.
Yeah, they
The
blew up
three.
for this event for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we have Jeff Dumas. In hindsight, what would you have changed about your team? Honestly, I think I liked how it played quite a bit. The big change I'm going to make with Collector's Trove coming out, I think I'm actually going to try to drop Kong and try to get Ulysses Bloodstone on the team. The problem with Kong is that he's just way too much of a target for Hidari, and that's a huge problem. So I think I'm going to try to get him off and get Ulysses on, and then kind of go from there. But overall, everything kind of played like a huge part in what it did. The only other thing I guess maybe would be one of the Daredevils. I found myself having a hard time getting the third one over there on many games. But then there was a game or two where, the first two died, and I was able to get that other one over there, and it did help a lot. So, but that's probably the only other thing, is that one Daredevil's on the chopping block, and Kong is probably coming off for Ulysses, but then I have to get a couple of pieces of equipment and stuff on. So a little shuffling, but overall I was pretty happy with it.
Proud of you for saying Ulysses twice.
I did.
Properly. Thanks,
I got
Miles.
it now.
Glad I could help.
What do you guys think about, honestly, what I did play, though? What would you individually change about it? Everyone but Pete.
Probably, but I think that you did it perfect. I think dropping a Daredevil and Kong to get a Ulysses, I think is definitely the right play.
Going forward?
Yeah. Yeah, 3 Daredevils. I'm like, ugh. But as I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know what else you'd put on for besides the third Daredevil. So
I will say, when I was
and of course-
playing 3, like at Worlds, it was definitely the right play. It just, things are different now. So
Yeah.
I mean, the team plays to your strengths. So I just, like, for me, I wouldn't be able to play. There's way too many things going on this team. Like, I would lose track of something eventually, and it would probably, like, end up me losing because of it. Because there was just a lot to keep track of.
yeah, that was the other thing too, with not practicing at all. It was kind of hard to know like where to start, and at the beginning on some of them. But like I said, I'm gonna probably play this going forward for a bit, and it'll just get a little bit more easy to get it going earlier in the event.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey.
Kong and Daredevil for Ulysses, I think is huge. Ulysses is, like, especially with Major Logan.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
amazing.
yeah. And so I can see, you already, for no real reason besides maybe what I'm saying, is Kong seeing it, like, less play. He's still amazing. He did great things in my games. Like, I'm not kicking him off the team because he's bad or didn't perform. But the biggest thing is that everyone's playing Hidari, and all it takes is an outdoor map, and which is the majority of them. And so he's just too easy to target. He was hit so many times, even with Gaia and Cathan. It's just too easy to hit him. So I think making that swap is going to be a big deal. Aaron, what do you think on that?
Your build?
Yes.
Let's double check it. The one time I did really get to watch you play, it exploded. So
All my other
Might be
games
because
were
of the way
very
you
nice and
named it.
cordial and enjoyable.
yeah,
And you might
it's
not
probably
feel
'cause
that
of the
way.
name you gave it. It's probably because of the name
had
you
a
gave
few
it.
complaints.
Overall, I think I like the build. So weird to see the Major Logan's main forced at all. I think that's where I would look at it. I know your sideline's pretty tight in general for what you were going for, but maybe I would have swung the points to get a butterfly for a couple of things.
Yeah,
then
like, look at what he's playing. He has Predagon, he has Chair Panther, Timebreaker. If 5-point
Right,
tiebreaker that shows
so-
the name.
Depending on what makes the sideline final cut, if we did change that, it forces a choice and could save other ones. I don't know. It's not a bad build. I don't hate the build. I'm just like, is it possible to do that one thing?
The big thing with Major Logan
Yeah,
and
you
like
take
the
off
whole
West,
team is supposed to basically cover what you're going to see across from you, at least one piece, and that played out for sure. But Major Logan on it with the motorcycle, also gives him that 4 through 6 super senses, which is huge. And when he's a butterfly, his mobility is just so much less, and then he also loses that survivability. So that's definitely something that I was debating in the beginning, but I think the motorcycle would be something I would look at after. And if that's something that would have to come off him, then I think, yeah, butterfly would definitely be the right call. But Pete, did you want to add anything?
No, I just think you played too many Daredevils.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, that's my only real criticism. I don't know what the third one's doing.
Yeah.
Other than that, the only other thing with the treasure chest, but the mimic wasn't legal yet, right?
No, wasn't
Not yet.
legal.
Be legal
Yeah.
tomorrow.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, this is a really well thought out anti-meta team, so I don't have a big problem with anything you have on here.
Because you haven't played it against it.
No, but I mean, I'm probably will round 1 coming up, so that's normally what happens.
All right, moving to John Eric Hafford. What is the next piece that I don't have to chase down because Miles finds a way to get it banned in a format? Miles, any predictions?
Spider-Verse the spot.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that is
Spider-Verse
actually-
the spot.
That is true. I've seen what you're cooking up with that one.
Yeah.
Michael
He's
Abrams.
probably not going to get banned. He'll be
No,
efficient.
but he seems legit. And so it has to be silver, though, right?
Yeah, because it has to be the other one.
Yeah.
I just moved to. This is Michael Abrams. I just moved to Wisconsin from overseas and want to compete in the Icy Regional in Kenosha, but I just realized I don't have any modern figures due to the poor shipment in Europe. With the time frame and accessibility, I thought about just doing an OMA. Would it be better to play 300-point Kong or 300-point Trigon? Would love any thoughts or suggestions. I think Kong is just too easy to counter right now because everyone is
Trigon-
kind of building that. But I haven't seen
Trigon
Trigon enough.
Well, no, but Icy is going to be the Bloodstone. So 300-point Kong Gaia Chthon, he's not going to be healing.
Yeah.
Nope.
So I'm not sure he's getting any better with Collector's Trove coming out.
I think he should reach out to the Wisconsin players and try and build a different team. I think that we can get as a players, borrow pieces.
Yeah, I did message back on this post that to reach out, and there's plenty of people that'll help him kind of build a team or lend him pieces that he wants to build if he does want to build something else. But I was curious about what you guys did think about 300-point Kong versus 300-point Trigon.
I think
In
Trigon
the Bloodstone era, I'm say Trigon.
and
I just
Trigon's
think
also
300-point Kong is
easier
dead.
too. Like Trigon, you just play him. You don't really have to throw anything on him. You don't even have to do Chthon because he has no way of healing. So Chthon's not really a necessity. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he also shoots through hindering, so you're fine. And he just takes the one hit a turn because he's 300 points. So if you're facing people that aren't ready to deal with that, that could be pretty big.
Yeah, I think
And
I'm
it's
leaning.
not from an attack; it's damage period.
That's what I
So
mean.
that means
Yeah.
that you can attack. But no, I think it's very important too because that means that you can attack with Hidari and then try and mind control, finding that loophole with Colossus.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Trigon as well. Pete, what do you think between 300-point Kong and 300-point Trigon?
I would go with Trigon at this point. Trigon's fun too, honestly. I mean, I've played him.
4
So
for 4.
it's you're gonna. I mean, how well are you gonna do? It all depends. You're really matchup dependent, but there'll be teams that can't beat that piece.
Mm-hmm. Aaron, what's your take on that?
Trigon.
All right, that's 5 for 5. So Michael, if it does come down to either one of those, then definitely 300-point Trigon. But we have a ton of people that are willing to help you with the team if you want to build something else. We got lots of pieces down here, so just shoot me a message if you want to do that. All right, moving to Ethan Davis. Please give thoughts and criticisms about this team. Miles, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, I'm getting to it right now. That's another Prime Panther team, the Hadari Yao Kong, Shuri, and Butterfly. My only criticism is that the Don't Die team is going to be really hard because you're not going to be able to heal. It's I think people are really underestimating how many Bloodstones are going to be out there. I think that Bloodstone is becoming like a must play, so that's going to be the only thing that hurts.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But I mean, yeah, it's a Don't Die team. You have Hadari Yao that's going to be able to attack. You're going to have Kong. Prime Panther is not a bad attacker whatsoever either. And I think that you need to figure out probably Raven as a butterfly call-in. I don't think is the right call. I think you need to figure out another attacker just in case. Death Metal, Wonder Woman, John Constantine, and I think Mern's good. But if you're gonna do that, I think you need another attacker. Lightning Lad over Raven, just because he's gonna be a 12 for 4. So even without the free tokens and everything,
Well,
he's
you're
gonna be able
not
to be that ranged attacker for you to follow up with Hidoriao.
well, you're not getting a lot of Raven stuff too, because her thing with the when a friendly character
It's
that
for
shares
crit
you,
hit.
yeah, you can't do the crit hit thing very much. So
Well, I'd be with Kong and Yao.
yeah, now
It'd
yeah,
be mystical.
yeah, it just feels
Yeah.
like you're getting some of it, just not all of it. So
Like I do like that, but yeah, no, I think that you need to try and the Don't Die teams we saw in New Orleans is that people like went all in on that and just it wasn't good enough to really get up past that.
I think my
And
only
like
other thing is
Kong gets ate up by Yao. I think you just need more attackers.
I,
Lightning Lad.
I think my other thing is I think Adao should be at 100. I don't know if I like her at 60 with the bike, just because those 4 clicks, like you just 2-tap her and she's dead. Like that top dial is much scarier. Um,
But you remember though is that they're gonna have to not only two tap her, she does have Wakanda. So if he's loading up on those vibraniums, then they're gonna
yeah,
have to. That's each turn. So there's a chance that they're not gonna be able to. But
that's
that's where
fair.
the healing hurts a little bit. But I see what he's going for with that.
Now, it's also worth mentioning that thing with Raven will not really help Hadari in most of the situations because the deals a max, or what is it? Deals a maximum, or deals 3 damage if it's less than 3 damage. That would be after the crit hit is tallied in there, right?
No, but but no rollouts. You don't get super senses. You
Yeah,
don't get mastermind.
yeah.
So that's
It doesn't help her as
I
much
think
though.
that's where it gets in there. Yeah. No, you can just deal like 4 damage to someone. Yeah. Um, with that potentially. But yeah, I guess it's probably mainly for Kong, I guess.
I think Wonder Woman would be the most common thing, right? Because it does have a lot of offense. Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Because he has Kong, he has Yao, he has Panther. But it's only one range attacker, and that's why I think that Lightning Lad would give him that extra range to be able to follow with a Hadari Yao from range, so you're not stuck. So that way you're able to get different options based off of different matchups.
I think the Bloodstone is the thing that's going to hurt it the most, though, because you're not healing up after Death Metal Wonder Woman, and you're not healing up after you revive them with the Heart-Shaped Herb trait on Black Panther.
Yeah.
And then, and you don't have the Bloodstone, so I'm not sure what you would take off even then.
My only other thing is if you have a tomb on Shuri is amazing because giving her 6 range for her, what she does is really solid. And if you somehow wind up on those flurry clicks and you are still alive, the pen damage is good. So
Yeah. All right. Anything else to add to that one?
No.
All right. Also, please share your all's thoughts on underrated figures in the meta. What are predictions for what the Bugbears will do What are
That has to be owlbears.
I was gonna
owlbears?
say, were they announced? Because the bugbears is a D&D thing.
Bugbears are also D&D, but bugbears are like the third. They're the third largest, the largest of the goblins, because you have the goblins, you have the hobgoblins, and then you have the bugbears. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they're not we'll get those yet.
Yeah, I only know about the owlbears, and I'm guessing they're just going to be aggressive charge blades pieces. But the D&D clicks have been really cool, so anything that they throw out, I'm definitely buying.
Yep.
All right, then Mork Bird, do you think Wizzos have found?
Underrated.
Oh, that's right.
I was gonna name. Yeah. Colonel James Rhodes, the Prime. I think that he's being very undervalued and underplayed right now. I was surprised not to see any of them.
What was
honestly.
his
There
showing?
was one. There was one in New Orleans, so there was at least one.
Oh, was there one? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, Corey played him.
How did it go?
Okay.
I don't think he made cut, but he had tough matchups. So
I just think that that's a figure to look at going forward. Collector's Trove, I think we still need to see exactly how it's gonna. You can say it's good on paper. I've seen James Rhodes actually do good in tournaments against the meta, and so that's why I think that he's being undervalued right now on certain teams. The jury's still out for collectors just because it's on paper right now, and I mean I've tested a few of them. Ulysses obviously is great, but yeah, I want to wait to see those in action in events to see what people are doing with it, and yeah.
I don't know how more people aren't playing Shadow. She was an MVP for me on my team, my Assassins team. And the 048 Ghost Rider has been almost completely dropped off.
I play against him. Corey loves to play him out here, so I always forget that other places aren't playing him. I'm so used to playing
Diego
against him.
is the only one.
I think another one too.
I got a buddy.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're good. I was like, I got a buddy that won't not play him.
Oh, really? That would probably get to be a little too much then. I think Caveman Wally West is another one. He's looking better as time goes on. Now that he's got the +1 longsword he can add, giving him an 11 for 4, I think makes him a ton better as well. And Super Senses is pretty big, so I think that's a piece that's going to start to see more play too. Pete?
I do like that piece too.
What's up?
Undervalued pieces.
I think you guys covered it, honestly. I mean, I don't have any real other thing to add. I think Bardley Quinn is criminally underrated for 30 points.
As long as you don't outwit before you pulse wave.
Exactly.
accurate.
So, I mean, that's really the only one I would offer in there. You're getting a good pulse waiver. She helps your team, and she's not super expensive and prob. So,
Aaron, what surprised you about not being seen in New Orleans that you thought there would be?
I expected more of the big point Kongs and more Mern. It's so weird to not see as many Merns.
I agree.
I was a little surprised by that. I only saw a handful. Like as a butterfly, I think he only was main forced on that like non-theme assassin team, I think.
Yeah, that's all I saw.
Shares a keyword with like almost everything he needs to worry about.
Well,
I mean, that's
Hidari
fair.
doesn't even share. So there you go. That's the underrated figure right there with Mern. Zola. So then you can target Hidari. And Colossus.
That might be a stretch.
I don't know. He is kind of our mascot.
All right, Mark Bird, do you think Wizzos have found the magic sales formula by starting to add items in the Iconics releases? I know that I personally am purchasing Iconics that I would previously not have cared for the character just based on the equipment that was released. I can tell you that's why I'm buying a second one of each one so that we have more equipment. But I like equipment a ton, and the I'm not huge into D&D, but the creatures that they're putting out, I think, have been really cool.
I need the Mimic real bad.
Have the Mimic. He's cool. Also, I mean, Looper called it with a Displacer Beast, so now that's just gonna be something fun that I can play. It's like, all right, I'm gonna poof over here now. Bye.
Anything else?
No, I think the Iconics have been pretty great. I mean, the worst one was the Spider-Man one, and they've all been good since then. I haven't been unhappy with any Iconics purchase. It's funny to say that like you get a cool piece like the Beholder, and you're just as excited about all the equipment. I'm super excited to see what people can do with Dream and his stuff.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
there's some pretty interesting things in that little package. And not for nothing, the piece looks great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, those 3 items added a lot. All right, then we have Austin Murray. So I'm sure you guys will go over it, but there has to be a way to minimize the amount of time a experienced player who's been playing for 5+ rounds uses, and to not waste time and ask questions that they should know at that point in the event, and for the judge to be able to step in and active judge an obvious act of stalling, because that's just absurd to me. I hope everyone had fun overall, but some things I heard are just crazy and wild that some players would do with like that. Do what they did. Love the pod as always. You're killing it and doing great, lads. Aaron, is there anything?
I think Aaron.
Yeah, I think Aaron covered most of it, and we did. Aaron, did you want to add anything?
I think I hit pretty much all the notes we need to on that. Like, it was a weird situation, and it's going to lead to a fix for that situation now.
All right. Thanks,
I
Austin.
didn't say much during the review because I just kind of wanted to hear you guys talk about the weekend because I wasn't directly involved. I watched some of the streams and stuff. And I guess my 2 takeaways, the opportunity is huge to have some kind of rules or governing, we call it the sacred text for judges. That should be something that at events should have been something done before now, in my opinion. And I don't know how Aaron and Dan feel about it. I'm not a judge. You wouldn't let me judge anything because you would not be playing HeroClix by the time I was done.
Would be terrible.
Yeah, it might be closer to Connect 4. But number 2 is utilize your judges. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, HeroClix is complicated. And so during the course of a day where fatigue starts to set in, or you have different experience levels, or tensions are mounting, like, just involve the judge. It's not you being a weakling or a whiner or a baby. It's you going to the authority to make a judgment in the game at an important moment. That's literally what those guys are there for. And sometimes they're not, they've got to come in and make a judgment call, and they all do a great job, but that's the only overarching thing that I think people should really do is utilize your judge staff more often.
Well put, Pete.
Thank you. And thanks again, Austin.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. All right, moving to Ryan Bookwood, our local tryhard. Has anyone seen or heard from Westpool since he went one-on-one with the Gorn one, or is it a simple case of FAFO? Yeah, I have not. What's that?
It's because of FAFO.
Yeah, I think so.
I think my favorite part of this is he put it in parentheses afterwards, like we didn't know what it was. Like he just spell it out for us.
And if anyone is curious about this fight, it is on our YouTube page, and it is probably the greatest cinematic HeroClix related thing ever created.
Yeah, it's a simple minute watch. It does not go well for Westpool. It does not. It's a little spoiler alert. And we have not seen or heard from him since. So I don't know. Maybe he's got regeneration. Maybe he's still healing because he took a beating.
Paul Heyman would say, those aren't predictions. Those are spoilers. I hate giving you credit, but I watched it 5 times and I just started laughing every time doing it. It was really well done.
I spent way too much time on it.
The first thing
it was worth every second.
What's that, Miles?
My wife actually laughed at it because she thought that was the funniest thing. So that was, and she hates Aquamiles, so she's now a Red Bull fan.
Well, that makes me feel good.
I mean, here's my feedback I would offer: great American cinema or greatest American cinema.
Great point.
I mean, we do have the Oscars coming up. Do they have short films?
I don't know. All right, Wes Robertson, is Common Thanos going to see competitive play? No way he stands a chance in 300 Modern, right?
More than that trash Deadpool chase.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah, you'll probably win more games with Thanos than you will with that Chase Deadpool.
I feel like people will try, but that 20 defense doesn't hold up nearly as well in Modern as it does in Sealed. And I just played Thanos yesterday, so I'm like fully aware of the stupidity.
No,
that
he's
is
winning
Thanos.
a pulp events. He's gonna win pulp events. Him and Ares is a combo in pulp that I think needs to be looked at.
I have a question, boys.
What's up, Pete?
So going back to Michael Abrams' question, and welcome to Wisconsin, Mike. If you want to come hang out, we'd love to have you. Would it be better to play a 300-point Kong, a Trigon, or a 300-point Thanos, with a sideline Thanos?
I think still Trigon.
Okay.
Trigon.
Because Trigon's taking one
Trigon
hit.
can only be attacked once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I was just curious what you guys thought.
Thanos is getting piled on. Pick whatever power you want from your sideline.
Like Ryan Bookwood on a Monday night.
But yeah, definitely, he's not going to stand a chance in competitive 300 Modern, but Pulp, I think he's too much, honestly. He's up there with 200-point Moon Knight, and how many points is Black Adam? 175?
200.
200.
Okay. 200, okay.
And the only figure that I've seen that can actually deal with Common Thanos is potentially Moon Knight with support, but even then, I just don't know if he's going to have enough. Because getting that Giant Reach 3 Ares bomb is just ridiculous.
Well, another Common Thanos and going first helps. So
yeah.
Honestly, I'm assuming that other people are going to disagree with me on this one, that it's needed in the format, but I think the coolest thing about Pulp is that you get to build teams with many lower pointed characters that you don't normally get to play with. And just playing one stupid tent pole is in an event is just, it kind of ruins the event, as we saw in Worlds with time limits and whatnot.
Yeah, no, the 300-point Thanos is, and it's not good for the game, a 300-point figure that can do what he can do. You've seen it with Moon Knight and Black Adam at 200 points with support. It's hard enough to kill them.
Yeah.
In Pulp, unless you're playing those figures. And
The
now
weird
you're going to
thing is-
introduce a 300-point Thanos. So you're just going to make it stale.
The weird thing is I really like Thanos actually as a figure, but not like I know he's probably not great for those formats. So
Sealed was really rough with him, where like half the field is just 300-point Thanos.
Oh, I know. I played him yesterday. It was stupid. I was like, all right, just gonna run over here, pop, kill 3 things.
And that's with somebody pulling a God Pack and pulling 2 chases on their team, and Dan still came in first place with Common Thanos.
Yeah.
I mean, I had favorable matchups because first round I played Dalton, second round I played Adam, and third round I played Jeremy, who also had Thanos, but it was literally Jeremy and I just teeter-tottered, and then he crit missed it, which allowed me to take the win.
Matchups that you were just that much better than your first 2 opponents?
I want to be respectful to Dalton, so.
Oh man, this has been a little spicy tonight.
Dan, what did you get for your sideline though? Did that help you a lot? I honestly don't know.
No, it was only Cosmic Rider, but prop was good. I mean, prop is always good. So.
Okay, yeah. Aaron, what is your take on Thanos?
After we did the test run at 150, I think that's better for Sealed. Like, especially if it's just like a release event with him.
Mm-hmm.
He plays
Pulp is
differently
going to be
too.
its own. Yeah, he does. Pulp's gonna be a thing where he's a monster for a minute. But there's so much still in Pulp that could just give him hell. I get he's strong, but I really do want to see it played out and then see if we can actually get like an adjustment if he really needs it, or just banned if he becomes that big of a problem. But I do want to see if he stands up to.
I've done a
You're
few
good.
tests with a few people, and yeah, it's the Giant Reach 3 minimum 4 damage blades that just destroys a team. So that's the only thing that makes him. The Ares bomb is what makes him dangerous in pulp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say,
Well, I mean,
making you play him at God, I remember 150.
150.
Yeah, making that ruling before the event this last weekend was huge because I think that too many people would have just had a team that had 300-point Thanos, and that would have really messed up the event.
yeah, I'm happy we did that one early enough.
And I still like playing him at 150. Like he's still a good piece at 150. Yeah, I mean, it's most pieces like that. Like he's a little shallow, but he does a lot, and he was still really clutch during like the moments I actually hit an attack roll.
Yeah, I think the
That's what he needed.
scariest thing was when they had, what was it, Cosmo on the sideline, and he was able to mind control.
Yeah, the triple target mind control was underrated. I was like, oh,
That was rough. All right, last we have McConnell Lamar. Hey, Degeneration Clicks. I hope you had a great time in New Orleans and have recovered from your hand grenade hangovers. I think I have seen more God packs pulled from this set than any other time that they have been included in a set. Also, what appears to be a pretty much 100% prime or chase. Wait, also what appears to be a pretty much 100% prime or chase?
from Trove, like I'm assuming he's talking about just in general, like having I'm assuming a brick with the primary chase.
Oh,
I
I got
think.
you. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I have not heard many horror stories about cases not having anything. I think there's been a couple of bricks without a primer at chase, but for the most part, it's pretty minimal. I think people selling the God packs, though, that's just people trying to just sell them in the beginning for money. I don't think people are really valuing the chases as good as they really are. Once things settle, I think you're going to start seeing them actually get played quite a bit.
I agree. I do like the distribution. I think their distribution's been very, very good. I don't think has there been any reports of like somebody not getting anything out of a case or a brick?
A case, no, but I do think I saw a couple people say a brick, but not many.
Okay.
And I think most of them were honestly secondhand. My friend did it, so who knows?
Well, so the whole thing is like we love to pile on when WizKids doesn't do well with distribution stuff, but in this set, I absolutely think they have. I got a case. I bought a case, and I got Chase in each brick, and I got two different legacy cards, and I got a prime, and I got all the supers except for one. And then in our sealed events, people were pulling chases left and right.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see. Not me. Like I got the old common, uncommon, rare packs.
You pulled Agatha. What are you talking about?
The first time, the second time, I didn't. I pulled a giant pile of toilet paper.
Oh, so
I wasn't sure if it was used or not used, but it's what I had, and so we went to war with it.
I mean, so did I. I only got lucky because I pulled Thanos. That was it. Otherwise, it was a lot of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Dan just try to pass off winning an event as like he did bad?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. I was listening.
His Thanos got hit for one damage, and it was just over.
Lex Luger player. That's because he's a Lex Luger. He's our Lex Luger. He's my hero.
Next one. Given that this and the soon-to-be released Spider-Verse set will likely mean lower secondary market prices for Collector's Trove, is this a good, bad, or whatever thing?
I don't think that's actually accurate because the set has so much equipment. Like I would think a normal set, but this set has like the figures are good, the equipment is all good. So I think this set's gonna hold value. I mean the chases are pretty solid too. Like there's really not that many duds as far as like the higher rarities go for sure. And the primes are good too.
Yeah, the chases are starting, I think, way too low, and they're gonna definitely rise up a little bit, except for Deadpool.
Yeah, not Deadpool. You guys have got me doing some shopping right now.
Yeah, no, it's the equipment is going to make certain figures keep their value. I think that the Chase Namor, or the Prime Namor, he's gonna be probably 250. I think he's actually gonna be the most expensive figure from the set, including collector. Because of that crown equipment.
I'm excited about him.
You're excited
Him
for
and Silver is
Collector
a
or
thing.
Namor?
Namor. I mean, Collector's good too, but Namor is gonna have some fun interactions in Modern and Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually played him. I pulled him in last night's sealed also, and
I just bought it at mommy's name.
the the
Please leave that in the podcast.
Did you seriously hear my son say that?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
the not being able to target him unless you're adjacent is honestly pretty crazy, and anybody that has dolphin keyword. So like Miles was saying, and I'm sure for that reason alone, Silver, he's going to be pretty crazy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting 200 points of extra figures is a lot better than just 100.
Yeah, exactly.
And in Modern right now, like plants just destroy that. You saw like besides the fiasco of like what Lucas was doing, Lucas was just taking people to the woodshed, and you're not going to be occupying water. You're going to be occupying a plant terrain.
Yeah, I don't think it's his time in Modern right now.
He's just gonna drop a plant marker under you, and then you just get waxed.
Yeah, but wait until post rotation, because because right now plants are seeing really high level of play because of Man-Thing. And once he rotates, plants will take a dip. And I think Namor has a chance post rotation.
He'll be gone for sure. I think the Ivies will be gone too.
I don't know what the Iconics is, if it's going to be 2 or 3 worlds like the LEs. Because we still haven't had any because we had a few Iconics that were legal for 2 worlds already, and they haven't rotated. They didn't rotate after this Worlds.
Iconics getting 3 years could be a fun max, but yes, they definitely need to go this year.
Yeah, because if 3 years means that we're going to get Kong for another year. But I'm fine with that. I think Kong's has answers.
He's in a fine place, and it's a good piece to have an option for, or an option to play.
Mm-hmm.
3, given what you saw at King of New Orleans and what is available in Collector's Trove, what do you think is a solid foundation, about a third of your team, to have for dealing with the majority of the meta? What would you say on that, Miles? Just your plant team?
That's what I'm going with. Yeah. It's hard to not build with plants because like right now it counters everything. The hardest matchup is a mirror match. And I still don't I think it's one of the best teams still, but I think it's also one of the hardest teams to pilot. But I'd have to agree.
I think range is definitely picking up with Hidari, so I don't think that we just said that Namor wasn't a play right now, but that's the one thing I think that that could help with that, something like that. I don't know any other options besides what's the pog that gives Battle Fury?
No.
Zenzi.
Yeah.
Well, she's good for 15 points, but Deceased Batman on Monster with Butterfly.
Yeah, but then you're going to have the Butterfly Hidari ruler team that brings in Mern.
I know, but I haven't seen that whole lot of that yet. All the Hidari teams I've seen did not include Mern. So there was only one, and it was off-theme assassin, and that was kind of an oddball. So I'm just he's still a good
that is. I do agree with that. Shutting off improved targeting is huge. But yeah, if you looked at the 28 or totally since post Worlds, I think there's only been maybe 6 plant teams. So I mean, Namor could have a shot. It's hard for me to want to build with him, knowing that I know someone that can just beat it, and I've played that team before. But I can see Namor being like a prime rogue
that just wallops things, because Prime Rogues falls prey to the same type of team. But we've seen her do well.
What's your biggest answer to Colossus?
Oh, plants. Because you just put the grave marker with Prime Swamp Thing. I think Prime Swamp Thing doesn't get enough love. I think that because there's just so many more Colossuses out there than Swamp Things. So everyone says that Colossus is the best Prime. I think he's the easiest Prime to pilot. But I don't think he's the best. Because Prime Swamp Thing just kills him.
I mean,
Put a grave marker under him, he dies.
I mean, Beal does too. You don't have imperv, and now
Yeah.
he's just that's.
Yeah, it's weird.
He's the easiest to play.
I don't think that it's necessarily you have to play piece A, B, or C. It's more about just having certain abilities, like turning off a defense power, like you can do a Swamp Thing or Blue Beetle. I still am a huge fan on Precision Strike. I think that that's like one of the best powers. It at least lets you ping somebody, and it takes away at least -1 to Super Sense rolls. So that's honestly one of my favorite powers right now, and has been since Arachnite.
That's why I'm playing Panther, because he has Precision Strike, and I can make him a 13, so it's a lot easier to hit that 20.
So I think it's more about just having similar answers like that, and then obviously the the Bloodstone. It's more about equipment, I think, right? Bloodstone and Universal.
Yeah, Bloodstone is. I almost think that you have that as a must play, because we've seen 200-point Kongs and 300-point Kongs just wrecking.
Yeah.
Outside of a few teams that can answer it, and a lot of those teams that specifically answer it aren't really easy to pilot. So the Bloodstone just stops that, because especially the Chthon. I think Chthon almost won't be making any sidelines now, because you're going to have to build with Bloodstone in mind. And so if you have the Bloodstone, you're taking those unavoidable. Steel Energy won't work. Gaia won't work. Herb won't work.
Yeah, you still have to pick a piece to take that damage.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the matchup.
And so I think that Chthon's going to pretty much... This might have been the last hurrah for Chthon.
Pete, what would you say to a foundation of what you're seeing in the meta? Like, what are you starting with on your team?
Hadari Yao. I mean, there's nothing as an attacker that you don't want there. Even without the universal weapon and all the nonsense of 3 damage pulse wave. Like, that's just a great 100-point attacker.
So just matching the meta pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a reason why it's the meta. I mean, that's... and that's your most efficient attacker. At least it's not 50 points. I guess we should be happy about that. There was many years where the best attacker was 50 points. So,
I think the reason why they're changing that is because of Butterfly. Because having Hadari Yao as a Butterfly option would have,
Oh, that would have been stupid.
So I think that's why we're starting to see more figures at 60 points instead of 50. I think that's a direct reason because of Butterfly.
And one underrated thing about watching the Kenny Lucas game is how many times Hadariel fell over. I should have had a counter. It was a lot.
It was funny seeing them place it like on top of the herb, which is an awkward, an awkward terrain as it is, and then you have the
constantly falling
heavy.
over.
Yeah. I was waiting for it to break.
Dan, do you have anything else you wanted to add to the foundation of dealing with the majority of the meta?
I mean, I'm on Panther, but I've got a couple different ideas that I'm toying with. It's just making points work. Sans Keaton, I actually really like Legacy Odin. Just him being able to take away improved targeting, or just your improved abilities by giving out Earthbound is kind of huge. But I just haven't really made the points work yet. But he's something that I keep rotating back to, just because it seems like everybody wants to be able to shoot from across the map and basically ignore most of the map. So.
Well, not for nothing, he's also now able to turn off what we just said is a must play, which is the Bloodstone.
Yeah.
Or even the universal weapon. So I could see him actually seeing an uptick too, because I've seen him in action and he's surprisingly really good.
Yeah, so I'm toying with that still. It's him and Panther were my two things that I really liked, because Panther gives me the same Arachnite vibe of I can come in, swing, and I basically get where I want to go. And he's more of a control piece. So
Aaron, do you have an answer for what you're seeing right now?
So, based on what I thought I would see, is why I built that Titania build. So with the shift into Hidari, and the downplay of Mern, I really do think the Black Lanterns have a place.
yeah, especially with the universal weapon, because now they just have TK, so you're not relying on a lot of their free stuff. You can just be like, TK, go.
Even without being able to heal with the Bloodstone?
You just murder the person that has the Bloodstone. But even with Ulysses, you can probably murder him.
Yeah, I would say with Batman going, you just can't shoot any of us. If we get any out, I think it's fine. It might be one of those things where it's just learning how to strategically go after that person, but the not being able to see them to do anything if I can get grave markers out first is huge.
Yeah, there's going to be a weird balance once Collector's Trove releases. I'm looking forward to our IC.
And you still get, you can still heal them with Necron. He's still just as good with Tauret, so then you're not relying on like a lot of the free healing, like with pizzas or something. You can just, that's fine. I'll just use my giant guy to support them. It's fine.
Yeah, you still have to get rid of the Bloodstone first, though, and I do think that's going to be on like at least 90% of teams.
I understand the Bloodstone. It lets you heal one less. So with support, you still have the chance of getting at least a click or two, depending on what you roll.
Not me.
Yeah, but now this is when Deadpool enters the meta, because Deadpool and Team Up Bob means you heal 2 less.
Yeah, but that's where you're playing Miles and
I'm not playing that at all.
Yeah, I know.
Wes, I hope you're still with us. It's your time.
Yeah,
Miles has led you there.
Bob. Deadpool Bob, the new meta.
He has led you to the promised land.
Yep.
All right, McConnell's
So
last
I guess
one.
we know what's going to be at. I expect it to be at the your guys' IC. If Wes isn't playing Chase, Deadpool, Bloodstone, and Bob, I'm gonna be disappointed.
All right, challenge is set, Wes. All right, McConnell's last one. I got to play Mephisto for the first time, and he was great. I used the Mystical Team Up and plan to try out the others as well as the standard card. Here's the team for reference. So he played the Pete's favorite piece of Infamous Iron Man that I hate seeing so much. Not off to a great start, McConnell.
Hey, whoa! I love Infamous Iron Man. That's amazing. Good 100-point start, McConnell.
This is one of those pieces I will absolutely run across the board and murder as soon as I can.
Yeah,
but
he evokes strong feelings in Redmond.
he had the Mind Gem. Then he had the 009 Raven from the Wonder Woman set, the Gravity Feed, right?
Yeah.
That's the one that's like the Black Heart, where you can place up to 1 character with Mystical or 2 with Teen Titans.
Yeah, they were talking about it for Silver. She had the Spin and Remaker rings, and then Mad Jim Jaspers with the Indigo Tribe ring, Green Man with the Broadsword Construct. Mephisto.
Nicely done.
Hey, Mad Jim's banned. This is for
This is a Golden Age
fun?
game that they played
This
for
is golden.
fun.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes
Nobody plays cliques for fun.
We always play clicks for fun.
No, it's just a lot of hate and teeth gnashing and regret
anger
afterwards.
And rage.
So much anger.
If you're playing for fun, you shouldn't be playing. Okay.
Oh, then that means Redmond has to play with sleeves on. That's rough.
I guess I just enjoy the game more than you guys. I'm sorry. He did put Bag of Holding on Mephisto, and then
I actually like that.
Yeah, I do
actually
too.
like
Being able to run through since he ignores characters
Exactly. Be like, I'm gonna take this and that.
and snatch things.
It's a very Mephisto thing to do too.
A very cool
It's just
addition.
right on character.
And then Legacy Green Lantern with the Green Lantern ring and the Wendigo from XDPS. So yeah, very cool. Glad to see that you got the Mephisto and you're putting him to use already.
I feel like this is a pretty Dan and Pete intensive team, honestly. Would you agree, Dan?
I would actually. So my only like swap out would be I would play the Liar and another ring on Infamous instead of the Mind Gem, just because 10 range mind control that sees through everything feels a little bit better than. I mean, if you get the 10, it's still really good, but I like the consistency that Liar and something else bring.
And then he could also use the 10 range with his outwit. And
Yep.
we were just talking
Special
about
outwit,
Precision Strike, which I like Spectral Ring on him.
What's he doing with Jaspers?
Being Jaspers.
Yeah, and then he's just got the Indigo for like, hey, I can heal you. That's not bad, I guess, for sure.
Yeah, this is good. That Infinite Iron Man, though, I can't play in Meccano because Redmond gets so mad that he just throws his whole team at me. So it's just he actually puts sleeves on. It's very disturbing, the whole site.
I'm surprised he didn't do that to me the time I played him. Like I only played him once, but still, kind of surprised.
It was the middle of summer, that's why.
No, it was December.
Oh, okay. I
don't know why that piece induces such rage in him.
Because
I'm right there with him. I hate that piece.
Really? Great.
Yeah, I just hate seeing that piece.
Yeah.
When I first got back into cliX, I was playtesting with that player, and he only ever played that piece. And I'm like, why are you playing this garbage? You're gonna lose. And he lost all the time because he played that garbage.
I just hate it because Pete would play him and he just would never die and it just always hit. And it was probably a little bit of circumstance, right? And every time he's played him, he's just performed way too well. So, and I don't.
It sounds crazy to say that 100-point piece is outperformed its weight class, but that piece has absolutely done the Lord's work.
The amount of crit hit energy explosions and rollouts with whatever you put on him and all this stuff is, yeah.
Even the one time I played him, I'm pretty sure he outlived his life a few times. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he should have been dead a long time ago.
Oh, was that in the big game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You were just lucky I couldn't get to you, and it was a bad idea to run into you. I wanted to.
Yeah, you can get off his thing, too, pretty easily.
I did.
The plot point, yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's amazing, then. Yeah. Yeah, good piece. Good team, McConnell. I love it. Glad you see you're playing Mephisto. I will tell you that one of my greatest faux pas in the big game was playing that Mephisto team-up card without completely reading it. Just watching him die. So
that was a little rewarding for me, but...
Yeah, completely undermining my whole team's point.
All right, let's wrap it up here. Any final thoughts, Miles?
My final thoughts are: I'm looking forward to seeing Westpool bring Deadpool and Bob to the Icy. He already said he's gonna win it, so he's got big shoes to fill. So I'm looking forward to Deadpool and Bob meta with Bloodstone.
All right, Dan.
Excited for practice next week and the Icy. I'm really excited to see what people bring. Like I just got to watch New Orleans and what they're like, not just their local, but everybody else brought. So I'm curious to see what people bring now. So especially with the collector show being out and in full swing.
Mm-hmm. Pete, what do you got?
Thanks for Aaron for coming on again. Thanks for everything he does for the cliX community. It sounds like you guys had a great weekend overall, despite some snafus. But so thanks to him, and I'm looking forward to Pete's taking a well-earned vacation here in about 4 days. So hopefully when I get back, I'm a little refreshed and ready to go, and looking forward to the IC regional and not practicing my team. Redmond, I did want to say I was proud of you how you really embrace that Pete lifestyle of theory crafting, not practicing, and just throwing it on a game board and see what happens.
It worked fine.
I will say, you will be very tan when you come back, so I'll be like, hey, look at you got some sun.
Oh, dude, I'll be so sunburned, it'll be terrible. But yeah, I'm like rolling back in like the night before, so that morning I'll be packing my team. So on the flight back, I'll be deciding what I'm playing.
It's a good way to spend your time.
And messaging Miles to be like, Miles, is this good?
I've messaged Miles so many times, I don't even know how many teams I've sent him at this point. Miles, are we at 7 or how many are we at?
I think we're at 15. I think you just need to go with the collector.
I love the collector. I do.
I'll get that. That'll be sent out once you're back.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, man.
Any final thoughts from you, Aaron?
Happy King Orleans went well, minus the small things, obviously, but overall, the event seemed to be a success with players and with the stuff in the background that, like WizKids' partnership and stuff like that. I'm ready to get back to silver. We've got some events coming up, and we got the lead into Huntington's and the Rock Cup, so I'm ready for them to let me fix the stuff that they want me to fix so we can get it going again.
All right. It was awesome seeing everyone this last weekend. Thanks to everyone that came up and talked. It was cool to catch up with a lot of people. Looking forward to our Icy, and then Champion Clix in Orlando is right around the corner. And as I've said many times, that is my favorite event of the year. So super excited that that is only like a month away. But thanks for listening, and see you next time.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya!
Click it!
Cause I'm so